The following is an exclusive presentation of Turner Sports. In 1998, cable television's exclusive host for the 18th Olympic Winter Games from Nagano, Japan, and the 4th Goodwill Games from New York.
The first part of the NBA season is history, and two of the top teams in the Western Conference had great starts. The Seattle Sonics with their league best 37 wins and the San Antonio Spurs, who have won 15 in a row at home, hope to continue their early momentum. The Spurs are built around the twin towers of David Robinson and Tim Duncan. They look to prove that they are a legitimate force in the battle for supremacy out west. Seattle, with all-star tandem of Ben Baker and Gary Payton, also have something to prove, that they are the team all others are chasing. The second season of the NBA is underway, and the real proof will be in the play. Which team will take the steps towards second half success? Sonics and Spurs next. Along with Reggie Theus and Scott Hastings, this is Bob Neal. Welcome to the San Antonio River inside the Alamodome tonight. The two top teams in the West, the Seattle Sonics with 37 wins. They sit atop the Pacific. The San Antonio Spurs, who have won 15 in a row at home, 24 of their last 28 and have 34 wins, are on top the Midwest Division. And an interesting thing happened. About 8 games ago, Sean Elliott got hurt for San Antonio, and that's bad news. The good news is, though, San Antonio found a triple threat. I call them the Tri-Towers, and that is Robinson, Purdue, and Duncan. Those numbers add up to 53 points and 32 rebounds a game from that trio, and the new face in that mix is Will Purdue.
There's no question, Bob. Will Purdue doing a great job filling the void that Sean Elliott left. Down there, 11 boards a game, doing a great job. But the big thing is he takes the pressure off of Tim and David. When they're double teaming those two big guys, he's out to clean up the offensive boards and they stay loose for those little crips around the bucket. Popovich said, though, this team needs some outside shooting badly, Bob.
Yeah, and this team is very good defensively this year, thanks to that big front line, is one of the reasons, and ranked very high. Now, usually that's the reputation of the Seattle Sonics. This year, though, the Seattle offense is gaining a lot of attention.
I tell you what, when you start talking about Seattle's offense, you got to think Dell Ellis. He has opened up this offense from long range. They got the mid-range game with Shrimp and Payton. Ben Baker down low, really doing a great job down there, mainly because his turnover situation is so much lower than it has been in that position in the past.
Star power in this basketball game to go along with Seattle, of course. There's Gary Payton, the glove, Tim Duncan, David Robinson, Ben Baker, Detlef Schrempf. It ought to be a beauty here at the Alamodome in San Antonio. Right after this message, we'll be joining Vince Cellini and Cheryl Miller in Atlanta.
1, 2, 3, 4. Can I have a little more? 5, 6.
If you're chasing your dream but want to stay in touch with the people who matter, now you can pull together the services you need to get the most out of your busy life. And get them all together now with one call from one company on one bill.
I can't believe I'm going to Japan.
All from AT&T.
It's your own little world. You're way up high, so you can see everything. It has lots of places to hide your treasures. It's roomy. It's cozy, with space for all your favorite things and your favorite people. It makes you feel like you're part of a club. Dodge Caravan. It's like a treehouse for grown-ups. Now get up to $1,000 cash back on Dodge Caravan.
Yo quiero Taco Bell. Right now, get a big old order of Nachos Bel Grande for just 99 cents when you buy a large drink. Taco Bell. Want some?
To get the most out of your digital satellite system, you need DirecTV. And for expert advice and guaranteed low prices on your new system, you need Circuit City. We're your DSS experts, and we'll show you how to see more sports, movies, and pay-per-view than on any other system. Right now, get $100 off professional installation or get a self-install kit free with any DSS purchase. Circuit City. You can't get a lower price. We guarantee it.
Midweek mayhem once again on the Superstation, but let us serve as the voices of reason. Yeah, us. Welcome, along with the First Lady of Basketball, Cheryl Miller. I'm Vince Giulini, and we start with the Lone Rider. Portland's Isaiah Rider, who missed a pregame meeting before last night's game against the Lakers, then was benched for the entire first quarter, walked out of the arena with around 7 minutes remaining after arguing with Coach Mike Dunleavy about his shot selection during a timeout. JR scored 24 points before taking a stroll. Rider's been suspended for Thursday's game in Phoenix. Now, on top of this, Rider played the race card, saying some Portland staff members give him dirty looks and accused one of them of racism. Even the city of Portland itself absorbed a Rider shot.
Do you feel there's racism in the Blazers organization or in the Portland area?
Well, it's definitely in the area. It's definitely in the area.
What are you talking about? Instances maybe.
Come on now. we can go 40 miles down the way. They're probably still hanging people from trees. But anyway.
Well, that's pretty strong stuff right there. And I know he's frustrated, but given what took place last night, and that is his opinion, isn't this going to make a bad situation worse?
Oh, it's definitely going to make a bad situation worse. I'm absolutely shocked by that statement, and it's absolutely ridiculous. I don't know, Vince, how you go from poor shot selection to people 40 miles down the way being hung from trees. It's absolutely absurd. And even if it was some truth to that, you would think that Isaiah Rider would have enough common sense to sit down after the game with the head coach, Mike Dunleavy, or the president, Bob Whitson.
Yeah, he was booed at that game. Next time at the Rose Garden,
he's definitely going to be turned
Yeah,
out.
you might hear some boos. One more note, Penny Hardaway strained left calf muscle on Tuesday night, had to leave the game. He is out tonight at Minnesota. Much more coming up all night long, but next on TBS, the game in San Antonio, where the Sonics preach tough glove. Floor leader Gary Payton hopes the Sonics can pad their 17-9 road record against David Robinson and the Spurs. Division leaders Seattle and San Antonio.
Frank, I'm thinking about moving to another swamp.
No, really?
I'm just not comfortable living in a swamp where assassination attempts are taking place. Every loon with a vendetta, every snake with a sinus headache frightens me.
Snap out of it, Louis. Everybody knows it was you.
Oh, Frank, I had no motive. I love Budweiser, and I love the frogs.
Oh, yeah, you're good buddies. I forgot.
Excuse me, if you would remember last summer, I invited them to that barbecue.
Yeah, well, Louis, you wanted to cook them at that barbecue.
But at least I invited them.
Oh.
You wouldn't have invited them at all.
In our quest for the finest brakes in the world, we tested our pads against other leading brands. With pad after pad, in test after test, the results were always the same. No other brand stopped shorter than Performance Friction Carbon Metallic. The ones we stock at AutoZone.
So, guys, what do we want to do this weekend?
Let's go to the beach.
It happened at 10 till 6 on a Tuesday night.
Okay, that's enough.
Just before the steamed carrots were served.
Guys, it's important.
Shh. Yes, this is Louisa. What are you saying?
A phone call she would always remember.
We got the house. We got the house.
For a free guide to help you on the path to homeownership, call the Fannie Mae Foundation. We're showing America a new way home.
Dodge Caravan not only offers a convenient driver's side sliding door, it's cleverly designed to hold the sliding doors open, even when you're parked on the steepest of hills. Try it out for yourself, if you're ever so inclined. Dodge Caravan. Now get up to $1,000 cash back on Dodge Caravan.
The NBA on TBS is brought to you by Brewery Fresh Budweiser, who reminds you fresh beer tastes better. By your local AutoZone stores. For the right parts at the right price, look no further than AutoZone. By Nestle Crunch. Nothing sounds like a Nestle Crunch. And by the new Dodge. From cars to minivans to trucks, it's about change. The new Dodge.
Vanderbilt University, number 41.
Welcome back to the Alamodome. If you're in the cold weather somewhere in America, you should be with us today in San Antonio. Blue skies, 70 degrees. Oh my, it was very, very nice. Starting lineup, Seattle Sonics. They came down just for the weather. And to get a win, lost last night to Houston, did Seattle. Payton and Hawkins in the backcourt. Baker and Shrimp at the forwards. And Jim McElvain at the center. For the San Antonio Spurs, Avery Johnson and Jaren Jackson start there. Not much firepower in the backcourt, but Vinny Del Negro and Chuck Person will come off the bench. And there's the triple tower we've been talking about. Purdue at center with Robinson and Duncan at the forwards. Scott Hastings, there was David Robinson appeared to have grimaced a moment or two when he was warming up. Do you have any information on what's up with the Admiral?
Bob, we don't have anything official on that yet. We'll be checking in on that. I was watching warm-ups right underneath the San Antonio bench where they were warming up. David Robinson came down off after a layup and actually kind of grimaced, kind of rubbing that foot. You know, he missed 76 games last year due to a bad back and foot injuries. He had the team doctor, he had the trainers, he had the coaching staff right before warm-ups looking at him. He's going to go, but watch that and see how that develops here in the first quarter. Bob?
All right, thanks. We'll keep our eye on it. Of course, back problems for David Robinson last year also, but he has started and played in all 48 games this year, and his health has been very steady. In his 9th year, and the San Antonio Spurs have won 15 in a row here at home. George Karl, Seattle Sonics coach. We spent a half an hour chatting with George today about his future, about the Sonics' future.
Very animated. Very concerned about it, actually.
Yeah, he says it's the fact that he doesn't have an upgraded contract yet is a distraction to him. Greg Popovich, who was an assistant coach, became general manager, then head coach. And Greg Popovich is looking this year at an excellent San Antonio Spurs team. The addition of Tim Duncan has been more than anyone could expect from the rookie from Wake Forest. 18 points, 11.5 rebounds, 2.4 blocks a game. He's in the top 10 in 3 categories. Our officials are Steve Javy, who has a history with David Robinson and David Jones, and Woody Mayfield. And we are underway. Jim McElvain, the center for Seattle, with the ball to the glove. Gary Payton, 19 points, 9 assists a game. Quick shot, Robinson rebounds.
And Gary Payton picking up where he left off last night, not shooting very well at all coming into this ball game, but very important game for both teams.
Lob inside to Will Purdue. Couldn't get the shot off over McElvain, and here comes Seattle. Scoreless so far.
Big Will getting into that mix early.
That was Shrimp. Rebound Tim Duncan.
But this is a big game for both teams. Seattle trying to get the mental edge over San Antonio. Got beat badly last night, and then the Spurs trying to come back from a 30-point loss earlier in the season to Seattle. Really a mental duel for later on playoff time.
Tim Duncan so dangerous. There's Will Purdue with a rebound. New shot clock. Still scoreless. A minute gone in the first quarter from the Alamodome. Avery Johnson, only 5'11", defended by the best defensive point guard, maybe the best point guard in the NBA, Gary Payton. Robinson inside to Duncan. Duncan had the ball hit. He missed. Nobody can put it in the ocean. Still no score with a minute 15 gone in the game. Shrimp not going to miss that one. Seattle 2-0.
I'll tell you what, anytime you get Payton on a break with 2 wingmen, something good is going to happen. Knowing how to put it in the hole.
Got a technical foul called. Woody Mayfield underneath the basket. Let's see who it's on. Looks he's looking toward the bench.
It was Popovich because he felt that that Tim Duncan got fouled the last time, and the referee didn't call the call. And he's right. I thought he did get hit.
So Hersey Hawkins will step to the free throw line. Hope Hersey shoots his free throw better than he shot last night. He was 0 for 5 from the floor and 0 for 2 from beyond the arc. Well, he knocks that one down. Hersey is an 87% free throw shooter. Here's what Popovich was complaining about.
Duncan spinning to the middle. You couldn't really see it, but on that defensive stance, got a little bit of ball, but got a lot of arm. Referee sometimes just lets those things go because that's his prerogative.
David Robinson over Vin Baker. Rebound, Detlef Shrimp. Detlef at 6'10". Coast to coast. Detlef Shrimp, all four of the points in the game.
Oh, anytime you can get a guy 6'10" that can get the rebound and bring it up the court, a la Scottie Pippen, it's a great plus for your team.
Shrimp with the 2 field goals. Hersey Hawkins with the technical foul free throw. 5-0. Seattle. Robinson to Jaren Jackson. That has been historically the problem with this lineup. Weak from the perimeter, but Jaren Jackson knocks down the triple. He's only shooting 38% from the floor.
Well, if they can get somebody to start hitting from the perimeter, they will be in great shape, not only for this game, for the rest of the season. As you watch Vin Baker pull big David Robinson out from under the basket, which he can do, will open up the game for everybody if he can hit a few more of those.
Vin Baker had 8 points and 8 boards in the All-Star game on Sunday. Shooting early, San Antonio with only the 1 field goal inside the Will Purdue. Threw up the shot quickly. Didn't get the call. Hawkins just inside the 3-point line.
Percy Hawkins really struggling in the last 6 games. Only averaging 4.8 points a game and shooting 23% for the last 6 when he is basically a 41% shooter on the year.
9:15 to go, first period. 7-3 Sonics. David Robinson working on McElvain. There's the double team. Now remember, as you look at the Sonics, who appear to be very out of sync, Tim Duncan is fouled. The Sonics haven't played for a week. They did practice twice on Monday and had a full practice yesterday. But often, Reggie, as you told us when we came back into the arena today, the team that's been off about a week is often a little slower to start than the team that played just last night.
Well, first of all, you've got all the mistakes that you're trying to win back from last night, and you're getting at least you got a sweat. At least you've blown it out. The Spurs, on the other hand, who haven't played in a week or so, all they've been doing is practicing, and there's no way that you can assimilate a game by just practicing. There's nothing like the actual game.
Tim Duncan gets them both. Tim is only a 58% free throw shooter. Gets them both there. We have a 7-5 game. The foul, by the way, was on Percy Hawkins, who is with the ball and driving. Bradley Starr out to McElvain. Purdue keeps it alive. Got a loose ball foul. It's going to be on Seattle, and it's on Vin Baker.
Well, I tell you, so far the pace of this game, Bob, has been a little bit odd. It almost feels like their teams are trying to fill each other out. There's really a very herky-jerky type of pace to the game so far. Nothing really happening.
Vin Baker's first personal foul. 8:36 to go, first period. 7-5. Sonics. Got clock to 10. Kicked ball. That'll be a new 24.
The last time the Spurs played this team, the Sonics trapped them so hard that they really played horizontal basketball for most of the game, not allowing them to play inside out at all, just passing it around the perimeter.
San Antonio often is more effective actually in scoring when they go to their small lineup. Duncan misses again. Detlef Shrimp with rebound. And Duncan is 0 for 4.
Oh, that was a great look by Detlef Shrimp at 6'10". We were talking about it earlier, passing from almost half court. I saw the eye contact. Vin Baker knew he was coming to him the whole time.
David Robinson against Vin Baker. Jaren Jackson, who had the 3 earlier. 10 on the shot clock. Double team on Robinson. Jackson open for 3 again. Not this time. Gets his own long rebound, though. Ooh, had a look inside to Duncan. Got it there late. Avery Johnson. 12 feet. Robinson missed the dunk. Gary Payton, it's 3-on-2 right now. Let's see if they go quickly. Shrimp will go for the 3. Long rebound to Seattle. Stolen by Jaren Jackson. Avery Johnson. Robinson's underneath. He hands off to Jackson on the drive, and a blocking foul on Jim McElvain, Seattle.
That's a tough call. McElvain looked like his feet were pretty set. You're talking about Detlef Shrimp. Now look at the big guy at 6'10". Look at his eyes right here. You're missing, but you got Vin Baker looking at him right there. See his eyes. They knew long before this play was finished that they were going to each other. Vin Baker, Detlef, timing perfect on that play.
Jaren Jackson goes to the free throw line. San Antonio 1 for 11 from the floor. They are 0 for their last 5. You see that Jaren Jackson is in his 27th start this year. He got the starting job when Vinny Del Negro went out with his right shooting elbow injury. Vinny's back, but still only about 90% and is struggling from the field. Jaren Jackson, known for his defensive skills. He's from Georgetown at 6'6". Inside to Payton. Missed the layup. Draws the foul.
Well, you're talking about Del Negro struggling from the field. The whole team really has been struggling from the field, except for the two big guys. Team shoots 47% from the field. But if you take out the two big guys, the rest of the team shooting only about 42% on the year.
Sean Elliott is going to be out for another 6 to 8, actually 2 months. And they say it could be around April 1st before Sean returns. But they do expect him to be back. He had quadriceps surgery. Expect him to be back for the run for the playoffs.
So here the Sonics getting into a little bit of a three-quarter court press, trying to get the tempo in their favor, trying to get the Spurs to not go down in the middle to their big guys. But when you got 3 of them down in the low post, the one great thing is when the shot clock is running down or you have no place else to go, you can just pick your 7-footer to throw it to.
From the corner, Ben Baker on that last possession by San Antonio. Tim Duncan missed. He's now 0 for 6. 0 for 5, check that. And Will Perdue took the miss to put it back in. But the front line, the big triple towers, are having trouble scoring against Seattle. We have a 12-9 Sonics lead with 6:30 to go in the first period.
You know me like a book. You know my moves before I make them. I go right, you're there. I go left, you're there before me. I shoot from downtown, you're in my face. The only way to beat you is to go right at you. That's what I'm gonna do tonight. Tonight, I'm gonna own you. Ready? Let's go.
Movies for guys who like movies.
I don't know what they are or where they came from.
A Superstation premiere. They live. You want them? We got them. Movies for guys who like movies. 10:05 Eastern, Thursday night on the Superstation.
Jazz is freedom of expression with a groove. Our music is the art of improvisation, and that can be analogized to basketball and music. And in basketball, you have your fundamentals, your footwork, the form of your shot. Now, after a while, you start to improvise. So you might be able to make a layup, but then you put a little juke in there. You might throw a no-look pass, or you might go between your legs. It's a wonderful thing.
Records are shattered. Hearts are broken. Heroes are made. Just another day in the 1998 Olympic Winter Games. The ultimate daytime drama on TNT. Coverage continues all this week at 1.
12-9, Seattle with 6.5 to go in the first period from San Antonio. TNT is cable television's exclusive home of the 18th Olympic Winter Games. The ultimate daytime drama coverage continues tomorrow at 1 Eastern Time. Gary Payton has some fans here. Also, Mutombo. What does that say up on the right? Dethrone Mutombo as Defensive Player of the Year. Okay, I got it. I thought dethrone was maybe somebody's name or the name of a city. I used to live there in Detroit. Here is Jaren Jackson. Hosting Duncan. You see the double teams come fast, and Duncan with his first basket of the night is 1 for 6.
I tell you what, and they elected to play him single coverage. You can't play the young fella like that. He'll eat McIlvain up.
Then Baker from 13 feet. Ben Baker is really smooth tonight. He's 4 out of 4, 8 points.
Bob, that's so nice because he waited for the defense to come up on him, and then he put it down, got into his rhythm, and shot a spread leg jumper. Smooth.
Avery Johnson being defended by Payton. Here comes Robinson to set up the high pick and roll. They back off it. Now the shot clock down to 6 seconds inside of Perdue. Stripped away by Detlef Schrempf. Shot clock down to 2.
Seattle's so good at getting their hands on balls and really making it tough for the big guys down low to put it down where the small guys are.
Schrempf driving on Tim Duncan. Fade away. Perdue the rebound. Look how quickly Seattle is back. 14-11, Sonics by 3, looking for Duncan again against McElvain. The double team, perfect to Robinson. Now that's more like it, out of the high-low.
Well, I tell you, one of the things that they were worried about is the double teams, and they want to move their offense up a little bit just for that. The double team came at the perfect opportunity. David Robinson doing the right thing, moving when his man moved to double team. Perfect.
David's first basket of the night. He's 1 for 3. We have ourselves a 1-point game. Gary Payton is going to try to make it a 4, and does with the triple. All-Star Gary Payton, what a year he's having. He had 13 assists in the All-Star game, averaging 19, 9 assists, 5 rebounds. Tim Duncan, hard to middle, and he draws the foul. And it's going to be on Jim McElvain.
One of the things we were talking about, you see where Duncan has the ball right outside. It's not on the low post, but as soon as David Robinson's man went to double team, he followed the defense to the bucket. And that, you learn those things going back to high school. Perfect execution with fundamentals.
Duncan's 2 for 2 from the free throw line thus far tonight. San Antonio, by the way, shooting a sweet 26.7% in this first period. There's Tim Duncan's rankings. He's in the top 10 in 3 categories, 27th in scoring. And as we were talking to the San Antonio Spurs today, they don't really run plays for Tim Duncan. He just kind of gets them on his own.
Well, he's so active, and he's so good at getting into the right positions. He's one of these kind of guys that has the uncanny ability. The only ones you can think about are the Magic Johnsons and the Larry Birds. These guys come into the league with the knowledge of a 13-year veteran already. Tim Duncan has that knowledge. Cannot be taught that, Bob.
Lane violation that gave him the extra free throw. Reggie Geary into the ball game now. Gets some early playing time to defend Payton. From long range, Detlef Schrempf, as Jaren Jackson didn't get to him very early. Geary wears number 4, handling the ball right now. Geary is 6'2", 190s from Arizona.
But he wanted to get Geary in the game early because he wanted to make sure that Payton didn't get into a flow of the game. He thought Geary's defense would be very solid against Gary Payton.
5 on the shot clock inside the Robinson. McElvain fouls him.
Jim McElvain a little bit.
His third foul.
His third foul, and the kind of foul that you sit there and you shake your head for, because he came from 4 or 5 steps away, really had no chance for the ball, and basically jumped on David's back. When, you know, all he really had to do was just wait for the guy to come down and then play defense on him. He was 8 feet from the bucket. Can't do anything without putting it on the floor from there with a man with Gary Payton and McElvain on him.
David Robinson's first free throw. Sam Perkins comes in for McElvain with his 3 personals. And Scott Hastings, what do you have for us?
Bob, kind of an update on David Robinson. If you notice, he's wearing that big brace on that right knee. That is something new. His knee has been acting up the last couple days, ever since All-Star Weekend, actually. It flared up before the game. The doctors are calling some roughness under the kneecap. But if you watch his face, he's in a lot of pain out there.
Wow. Yeah, we'll keep track of that. That's the kind of thing that would be a real problem for a big man right here in the middle of the season. Hersey Hawkins comes up firing. He was 0 for 2 from 3 and 0 for 5 from the floor last night in the loss to Houston. 3:27 to go, first period. 19-16 Sonics. Chuck Person also in the game for San Antonio, the rifleman. Jaren Jackson, his second 3 out of 3 attempts.
He's living on that little coffee corner over there that we call it.
Tie game, Vin Baker. Gary Payton, it's untied just like that. 2-point Sonics lead, 3 minutes to go in the first period.
Somebody over here on the side is giving Gary Payton a lot of lip, because every time he makes a bucket now, he's looking over just jawing at him.
Jaren Jackson tried to backdoor Hersey Hawkins, but the veteran was there. They bring it back out with 10 on the shot clock and go into Tim Duncan. A little jump hook in the lane. He can do that jump hook with his left hand, his right hand. Good face in the basket. Got about a 16, 18-foot range for the jumper.
So you're saying he's got it all.
Yeah.
But what I like is where he's setting up. He's setting up in position to give him room to do all those things. He's not limiting himself trying to line up on the low block.
And Baker was fouled, but it won't be a shooting foul yet. We have a timeout on the floor.
When we spread the wheels out a bit, moved the windshield forward a tad, lowered the step-up height a skosh, and widened the aisle a smidgen, we created a caravan with 32 more cubic feet of room. It's It's remarkable what a few alterations will do. Now get up to $1,000 cash back on Dodge Caravan.
This is a Gilliland Chevrolet commercial, but I guess you figured that out. No screaming, no loud music, no dizzying graphics. That's because we think you're smart enough to know how strong the Gilliland message is without ramming it down your throat. And what is that message? Best price, no haggle pricing. Huge in-stock inventory. Gilliland's 3-5-30 used car warranty advantage. Award-winning parts and service. Gilliland Chevrolet. One price, one place. 3019 West Division, St. Cloud.
The most exciting thing to happen to TV doesn't come from a satellite dish. It comes right through the cable you already have. Introducing TCI Digital Cable. The biggest thing to happen to TV since color comes right through the cable you already have. Introducing TCI Digital Cable.
Welcome back to San Antonio. Seattle up by a point, 2:32 to go in the first period. Upcoming games on Turner Sports. Friday at 8, Detroit's at Miami. Tuesday at 8, Detroit's at San Antonio. And Wednesday at 8, New York at Utah.
Bob, you're talking about Tim Duncan has all the moves right here. Watch him set up Sam Perkins, lean into the inside, and then watch. Bang, bang, jump, hook. He's got the drop step. He's got the jump hook. He's got the spin jumper. You said he's got the 16-footer. The only thing he doesn't do great is shoot free throws, Bob. It's about 58%. And even that's okay for a big fella that's a rookie.
Yeah, tonight he's 4 out of 4 from the line.
Well,
the Admiral's on the bench. We've been keeping track of the fact that he's got the right knee wrapped and seemed to have a little bit of soreness in it. Remember last year he had the injured back and foot. But this is his right knee, and apparently, according to Scott Hastings, got some pain in that. So Popovich has made some changes. Carl Herrera is on the floor in place of David Robinson. Chuck Person, Reggie Geary also in there for the San Antonio Spurs, trailing by 1.
A little bit different team in there for the Spurs. Going to be a lot more movement defensively now. You see, even on that possession, there was a trap and then a rotation in the back. Unfortunately, not in time.
Gary Payton already has 10 points. 3 out of 4 from the floor. 1 out of 2 from the line.
The San Antonio Spurs started the game off 2 for 13, but have gone 4 for 4 for the last. Well, not quite the last now, but was 4 for 4 from the field since then.
Minute 45. Stolen. Nice play by Jaren Jackson. He's a defensive player, as you see. 6'6", long arms. Rifleman penetrates, gets it to Geary, looking for Duncan in the post. Perkins fronting him. Duncan now playing for all effective purposes the center. Fowler gets his own board and jams it back, and the personal foul. Tim Duncan working it inside.
Tim Duncan doing a great job of staying with the offense. Great rotation by Seattle. Coming over early with Tim Duncan missing. Check this out. Nice pass into the middle. Look at all the shirts. The green shirts around him. Goes up, but look, stays with it. Comes back. And this is what tells you he's a player. Get it back, gather yourself, and explode. I missed the layup last time. This time, fellas, take it out the rim.
Now 5 of 5 from the line, 11 points for Duncan. Gary Payton has 10 for Seattle, handling the ball now. It is 25-24 Sonics. Minute 10 to go. First period from the Alamodome. Shot clock to 10. Vin Baker. Missed that one.
Oh, Bob, Vin Baker is so strong. Did you see him just beat down the defensive player into the lane and shoot in his face? You can see the intensity when he takes the ball in his hand.
Vin Baker hasn't missed. He's 5 out of 5, and the Rifleman drills the 3. Chuck Person's been hot his last 15 games. He's shooting 60% from beyond the arc in the last 15 games. Chuck Person, the veteran. Sibling. Vin Baker working on Herrera. 6 on the shot clock. Back to Baker. Just know the clock. Perry. First miss of the game for Vin Baker. 27. Lenny Del Negro is going to come in here in a moment for San Antonio. Well, actually, he'll get in after the period ends. Duncan. Too deep. He's going to score there. He just backed his way into the paint.
Well, Bob, you have to start playing Tim Duncan before he gets the ball. You can't allow him to get the ball in those positions.
Wingate shot at the buzzer, would have counted, but it missed. And that is the first lead of the game for San Antonio, which came with mere seconds remaining in the period. Duncan with 13 points and 4 boards. David Robinson only 3 points. However, Baker and Payton have 10 apiece for Seattle.
Every week on the Superstation, there's a storm shaking the ground, pushing the limits. Live on the Superstation, Thunder. Last Thursday, Thunder hit from all sides. Disco Inferno did a number on Saturn. Raven delivered a poetic beat, and the title match between DDP and Chris Benoit was an all-out brawl. This Thursday night on the Superstation, feel the Thunder. Thunder, Thursday night, 8:05 Eastern, only on the Superstation.
Let's start with the brewmaster for just a moment. The brewmaster is the chef. That is the key brewmaster role, to understand the blending of his or her ingredients. Not only he or she tastes the beer every day, there's another person who tastes the beer every day, and that is me. The ability to have hands-on brewmasters working with the finest ingredients gives you Budweiser.
Who's looking after your money? You do have goals to reach. Are mutual funds getting you there? How do they see things? At Janus, they look for opportunities one at a time. Not categories, not trends. Just great companies to invest in, no matter what the market's doing. You can find them if you look hard enough. And Janus does. Get there. Janus No-Load Mutual Funds.
Crunch time, folks. 3 seconds to play in a tie ball game. Wooten has the ball. This one's come right down to the wire. Wait a minute. They're leaving the floor. Where the heck are they going?
Nice place, man.
Nestle Crunch. It's just more fun to munch.
White Crunch, ahoy!
Nestle Crunch also comes in creamy white chocolate. It's just more fun to munch.
Vince Cellini at the TBS studios. The Orlando Magic held to 66 points in a loss to Indiana last night without Penny Hardaway, but with Bo Outlaw, who hits this shot in the first quarter. And it's the Magic with the lead at Minnesota, playing the Timberwolves in the black uniforms tonight, 20-15. Back to Bob and Reggie.
Thanks, Vince. Oh, those Timberwolves are tough when they have the black uniforms on. San Antonio got their first lead of the game with mere seconds remaining in the first period, to lead at 29-27. The story of that first period was, first of all, San Antonio could not find a way to score. You notice they went 1 for their first 11. Duncan's got 13 and 4. Baker and Payton with 10 points each. The Spurs with 7 offensive rebounds. And how about this? Seattle with none.
Well, the big thing for me is that they're allowing Tim Duncan to receive the ball without the double team. The double team is going to have to come from the far weak side, because if they come from the middle, like we saw early in the game, David Robinson is going to cut down the lane. So they have to rotate from further away. But you definitely have to put a double team on that big fella when he comes back in the game.
Some perimeter firepower in there now with Vinny Del Negro, who makes the nice pass to the cutting David Robinson.
Anytime a guard elevates, looks like he's going to shoot, and able to get it down to a big guy for a layup, that's a plus.
David Wingate in the ballgame for Seattle. He wears number 25, so is Dale Ellis. Ellis tried to go to Vin Baker, went right back to him.
Look how Vin Baker just banged on Herrera's chest, getting inside. Last time he got a bucket out of it.
Avery Johnson looking for the penetration. High off the glass. Rebound Herrera.
And that's what happens when you have an Avery Johnson able to penetrate and at least get the shot off cleanly. Always crash the boards from the backside. Herrera doing a great job of following up.
Herrera plays about 29 minutes a game for the Spurs and scores about 8 points. Dale Ellis, Mr. Machine, finished second in the three-point contest. That was a 2.
Dale Ellis making Vinny Del Negro pay for going over the top side of that down pick. Always follow a shooter around the pick. Don't go over the top because you slide to the baseline and shoot in your face, just like Dale did on Del Negro.
Vinny Del Negro coming off that injured right elbow, still a little tentative on the long-range shots from beyond the arc. Chuck Person passing inside to Robinson. Robinson's had 2. He got 1 assist from Del Negro. That one from Chuck Person. That's what happens when you can spread the floor with some perimeter players.
Well, that's what happens. You know, the opposite side is when you have those 3 big guys in there, it's going to slow your game down. When you bring these other guys in, it's a tempo changer, and sometimes it's a very good thing because all of a sudden you're playing a totally different game.
Speaking of totally different, great three-point shooter Dale Ellis drives it to the hoop to get that one. It is 35-31, Spurs by 4. Then Baker knocked it loose from Robinson. Robinson arguing. Steve Javy says that it belongs to Seattle, and now David Jones is talking to him about it. Who's going to get the ball? It's San Antonio ball. That's a cool-headed play by the officials.
Well, the officials working together. Outside referee had a better look. Inside referee was blocked out by the play. They talked about it. They made the right decision.
Chuck Person inbounding, loose shot clock, 10 minutes to go in the half. Herrera, baseline jumper from 12 feet. This is the biggest lead of the game for the Spurs, 37-31, and the Spurs started this game going 1 of 11 from the floor. They've gone on a 13-4 spurt. Payton high off the glass. Avery Johnson has Vinny Del Negro spotted up from 16. Still struggling from the perimeter.
You have to remember that Seattle played last night, played a tough ball game where they got physically beat up by Kevin Willis and the Houston Rockets. Could be a factor later on in the game. The tempo of this game is speed right now.
Look at Tremp at 6'10", handling the ball and making his way into the layup.
I tell you what, just by looking at him play, you can never tell this man was 6'10". Really has the agility of a guy about 6'5", easily.
David Robinson, nice pass. Did you see the one touch from Robinson to Avery Johnson?
The oldest but the best play in basketball. The little give and go, little guy to the big guy back to the little guy.
Wingate with the ball fake and the drive. The kick out, Ellis, 4-3. Rebound, Vinny Del Negro. San Antonio has won 15 in a row at home. They've not only won, they win by an average of nearly 17 points a game here at home. Look at Sam Perkins stepping around Robinson. Robinson wanted a hold, didn't get it. Here's Gary Payton. Better look out. He'll go right downtown. He does. Kicks to Dale Ellis for a 2.
This is a great game to watch from a point guard's perspective because you see Avery Johnson and Gary Payton driving to the bucket, getting into the lane, making defense collapse on them, and then they're finding people all over the floor. Really nice to watch.
How about this? Both teams really taking good care of the ball. It's 39-35 Spurs. Seattle has only 1 turnover. San Antonio only 2. Well-executed ball game with 8:12 to go in the first half.
Get the latest scores and highlights from CNN Sports Illustrated nightly at 11 Eastern on CNN.
Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are.
Wouldn't putting your stars together with our 5-star rating be a bright thing to do?
Remember, kids in the backseat.
And buckle up.
Monahan's Larson Motor Service, your Evinrude dealer, carries the top lines, including Crestliner, made right in Little Falls and powered by Evinrude Outboards. Take advantage of Crestliner's exclusive 20+3 protection plan, a 20-year warranty on the hull, and 3 full years on virtually everything else from bow to stern. Stop in to see the full line of Crestliner boats powered by Evinrude Motors at Monahan's Larson Motor Service. Monahan's Larson Motor Service, right on the price, right on the water, and right next to the boat factories in Little Falls.
Fear of flying can be overcome. First, Choose a friendly airline.
Welcome to Con Air.
Get to know your fellow passengers. Sing a soothing song.
He got the whole world in his hand.
And if all else fails, kiss your bottom bye-bye!
See Con Air. It's right here on TCI pay-per-view.
Welcome back to San Antonio on the Alamodome. 8:12 to go in the first half of play, and let's go to Scott Hastings.
I'm kind of with the heart and soul. This guy hasn't played. He had some injuries, but looks like in the next few days, 10 days, maybe you're going to be coming back and play. Nathan Millen.
Well, next week I'm looking to play against Portland. This week was a tough week to come back with playing Houston last night, coming here to San Antonio. Then we have the Lakers and Utah, so I decided to wait the next week. Not to say that Portland is a slouch or anything. I just didn't want to come back this week here.
Your thoughts on seeing Tim Duncan?
I think he's a good rookie. I like attitudes. I always look at rookies' attitude, and I think he has a positive attitude along with talent. And I think he's going to be a very good player in this league.
Nate, thanks. Appreciate it. Let's go back to Bob.
Yeah, that's going to be an interesting thing. As you said it right, Scott, heart and soul of the team.
No question. He is a guy that is an extra coach on the floor. And he talks about heart and attitude. He's got one of the biggest and one of the best attitudes around.
Herrera with the bucket. Count it. (43-35). Spurs build the lead to 8.
And Bob, I was talking to you about how the guards are penetrating, making it happen. Look at Dell Ellis on the block. Herrera with the block keeps going. Now Avery Johnson, look at him take up the slack, make the defense commit, and then give it to him at the right precise moment. Nothing but a foul. Had a chance to make a three-point play.
Greg Anthony picked up a personal foul. He's in the backup point guard spot. Handling the ball presently, being defended by Avery Johnson. Anthony plays only about 10-11 minutes a game. Gives him about 3.5 points, 2.5 assists. Sam Perkins missing long range. That's a takedown. They're going to call the loose ball on probably San Antonio.
Yeah,
on Chuck Person.
Chuck with the takedown. Interesting right now. San Antonio, 8 offensive rebounds, 8 points. Seattle, one of the worst rebounding teams in the league. 1 offensive board, only 2 points. That's going to be their Achilles heel down the stretch of this season. Can't rebound. Got to be able to get the ball off the board, guys.
Good minutes for Herrera. He played 7 minutes, went 3 for 3 for 6 points. He sits down, and Tim Duncan is back in the game now. Greg Anthony tries the 3 from long range. Benny Del Negro with the rebound. Avery Johnson penetrating the crossover past Percy Hawkins and the foul.
Still causing havoc. Avery Johnson going in with the left hand. I just love to see him cross over. Watch him coming into your living room. Nice crossover, and then switches it to the other hand. Oh, very sweet. Points in the paint. Seattle 12, San Antonio 20. Ooh.
Avery Johnson misses from the free throw line. Avery is a pretty good free throw shooter at 78% by today's standards. That's a great free throw shooter.
Avery Johnson, the first 20 games of the season, just an average sort of getting to know you kind of thing. After that, really took off. Popovich said before the game that this was a team that was really getting to know each other a lot better with some of the problems and injuries that they had to do it all over again. And playing great basketball, playing like they really live next door to each other.
Greg Anthony with an ill-advised pass, but it does belong to Seattle as San Antonio knocked it out of bounds. That personal foul, by the way, a moment ago was on Percy Hawkins. And smile, George. You're a hot coach. Everybody in the world wants you.
Hey, best road record in the Western Conference. You know, things are going to be okay, George.
I'll tell you something. George Karl is an underrated head coach in terms of media attention as Greg Anthony hits from the baseline.
Well, their team, period, doesn't get nearly the press that they actually deserve.
Yeah, George Karl is 360 and 140 since he's been at Seattle. Look at the resume. I mean, I want to, you know what? He's probably got an agent, but
I'd like to.
Would it be a conflict of interest if I represented him at the end of the season?
Well,
probably.
I think if there's one guy that could probably mess things up for a great coach, it probably would be you, Bob.
In that business, it would be.
But I mean, it's 70% for the last 5 years, but he's 60% for his career. That's saying a lot. So it just didn't start when he got to Seattle. He's been a good coach all the time.
Yeah, while we're at it, look at this. Phil Jackson, 61 with Michael. George Karl, and speaking of that, as you look at these great coaches, and they all are, George Karl has had really a changing cast of characters. Yeah. He hasn't had the Shaquille O'Neal or the Michael Jordan, the Patrick Ewing to go with.
No, I mean, he's had 2 dream teams, though.
Yeah, he has. Peyton and Kemp.
Yeah.
Not to take anything away from Kemp, but that was a great deal, getting Kemp going to Cleveland. He's happy there with that younger team, and Cleveland playing very well, and they've got a great future. And Vin Baker,
I tell you what,
I can't get the smile off Vin's face.
When you start talking about Vin Baker, you're talking about a preacher's son that really plays like he's from the street. You know, he's a guy that'll turn the other cheek, but when he comes back around, he's going to hit you with a backhand. You know what I mean? And you know, Kemp was just raw. The fact is that George said that they turned a turnover-prone position into a very productive position, and now getting more shots because of it.
Yeah, Baker less than 2 turnovers a game, I think I heard you say.
Oh yeah.
He sings in his dad's choir, you know that, in Connecticut.
Matter of fact, he sung the national anthem one time this year too.
Chuck Person. Open every time he comes out of the locker room. Tim Duncan gets the miss and puts it back in. Duncan is 5 for 13 now. Tim started 0 for 5 at this game, and now has 15 points.
You can't talk enough about the variety of shots. Unbelievable.
Shrimp working against Duncan. Neil Ellis.
Nice play.
Moneyball.
I tell you what, Moneyball, great line. Moneyball, Douglas Shrimp doing it at 6'10", drive to the bucket, causing the defense to collapse again. And I love it. Always I say about this game, drive and kick. You can find shooters on the floor when you do that.
Spurs by 4, 5:24 to go in the half. Chuck Person, his pull-up from 17 feet. Chuck Person's been playing well. I told you his last 15 games, he's shooting 58% from the floor, averaging 15 points and 60% from beyond the arc. 5:07 to go in the half. Shot clock to 10 for Shrimp. Drove past Duncan, got bumped on the way in. Foul's going to be on Tim.
Well, interesting play by Detlef because of his ability to put the ball on the floor. One of the things that Duncan wants to do, because he has to go out there and play guys like him, is he can take up the slack and get on your jumper. Watch this. Put it on the floor, get him in transition, take the contact, and still head for the bucket. Smart play by Shrimp.
Some scores coming in. Dallas and Philly knotted up at the half. Orlando's leading Minnesota. Saw Bo Outlaw earlier. You heard about Penny Hardaway with his calf injury. Penny Hardaway, rumor big trade. Rumor today, maybe Hardaway to be traded from Orlando. Hear about maybe Stoudemire going there.
Not a good situation.
But, you know, until they make the trade deadline's February 19th. So they're all.
You're going to hear a lot of, let's just say a lot of gossip before that actual deadline comes up, because the GMs are doing their job. They're on the phone talking about a lot of different things, and, you know, it's a lot harder to make a deal than it is to talk about it.
Vin Baker gets the foul. Robinson steps to the free throw line. That's the second personal on Vin Baker. 49-45 San Antonio. Big difference in the free throw shooting in this ball game. Supersonics are 5 out of 6 from the line. And the Spurs are 11 of 16, and that's 5 points, and that's the difference in the game. Vin Baker working on Robinson. Not a ball handler, big ball handlers on the floor. But the man who gets the rebound is Hersey Hawkins.
That's one way to get yourself back into the game. Hershey Hawkins been shooting 23% for the last 6 games. Not a guy who drives to the bucket very much, Bob, and that's one of his problems. When your jumper starts going off, you got to put the ball on the floor and get to the line, get to the easy shot.
They got the double team on him, and Duncan couldn't handle it. That's only 3 turnovers for San Antonio. Is that amazing?
Especially when the Sonics are one of the best teams in the league in creating turnovers with that trapping defense. But if you've noticed in this game, traps have not been that strong and they've not been that frequent. And I think that might have a lot to do with them playing last night.
Peyton to Shrimp.
Thought about the shot inside Vin Baker over Robinson. Vin Baker is a beautiful
so
player.
tough. But you remember what George said to us earlier. He said the one thing about NBA players, you never know what they're going to come out with energy level. Energy level is so key to the Seattle Supersonics in the way that they play.
Foul before the pass inside on Detlef Schrempf. You know what? I love doing Eastern and Western games. I better be careful how I say that. But the West, look at the score here. 3:46 to go in the half.
Oh, yeah.
50-49. Last year when Cleveland was walking it, this could be like 4 minutes in a game.
Big time. And these are two teams that like to put the ball up. One averaging 100 points, the other one 93 for the season.
Coming up on Turner Sports, Detroit Pistons with Alvin Gentry coaching them the rest of the way. Go to Miami on Friday at 8. Then the Pistons come back here to meet San Antonio next Tuesday at 8. And the Knicks at Utah on TBS next Wednesday, all of them at 8 Eastern Time. 3:46 to go in the period. 50-49 San Antonio.
How has Black history made an impact in your life?
More than anything, it gave me a sense of pride and a better understanding of who I am. It made me more determined to do something positive with my life.
Some people may say, I'm not African American, so why do I need to learn about Black history?
Because Black history is American history. It's about celebrating American people. That's why everybody should celebrate Black History Month.
Ford Expedition, built Ford tough.
Wake, sleep, between, dream, to be, baby girl screams, pass me the ball, I'm open, no such luck. Big man says, go home and play with your dolls. While he was talking, baby girl stole his ball. Step back, man. The woman is here now. She's got a whole new thing you can't even touch. No such luck, no such luck. Cause baby girl just shot one up.
The NBA on TBS is brought to you by Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? By Taco Bell. There's something inside you that's hungry for Taco Bell. Want some? And by Nike.
Welcome back to the Alamodome. High ceiling. I don't know, how high is the ceiling? Half a mile? it's big. We're in the football type stadium, the Alamodome. They close off half of it for basketball. And you see the San Antonio Spurs have been one successful basketball team, ABL and NBA. Tim Duncan, part of the top duo of David Robinson and Tim Duncan. You see there in points a game. They're a very close third to Jordan Kukoc. Of course, Jordan and whoever you can put in there. And the men at Payton throws up the air ball. I said they were getting the ABL. Did I say ABL?
Yes, you did, Bob.
Isn't that a women's league?
You know, it's okay. I know you meant the ABA. I knew that.
Well, I just keep up with the politically correct information.
Listen, we got to promote the women's game.
Illegal defense warning comes from Steve Javy.
Not a bad time, just the end of the half to get one of those. Try to see if the referees are going to call it, going to let it go, to be a little lenient with it. You got to play that way sometimes.
3:24 to go in the half. Still 51-49 Spurs.
Oh, that's so nice, Bob. I tell you what, that was quick and on a quick player. People forget that one of the best things that Payton does is post up.
He gets down to the baseline. He loves to operate as an assist man from the baseline, too.
Well, you know that Payton is 6'4", and he's got very long arms.
That stopped the 9-3 Seattle run.
Check out Payton posting up about 8 feet from the bucket, and then that spin drop step. Big fellas, take note. David Robinson, look how low he receives the ball. There's not much you can do about that. turning in the lane into the defense's face, makes you foul the guy. And then, of course, because he's left-handed, he can still get it up onto the boards.
Sonics get the timeout here with 3:05 to go in the first half. We have a 53-51 Spurs game. There is David Jones. You just saw him leaving the picture, the official. Did he just tee up Gary Payton? George Karl got the technical. Payton was talking to him, but Karl got the technical foul from David Jones. Going back to the bench to talk about this. Yeah, it's on George Karl for sure. I was about to say David Jones was made history as the first referee for the 2-ball competition. If you care about that. Nike halftime report coming up just 3 minutes 5 seconds of basketball away. Vince Cellini, Cheryl Miller be in our Atlanta studios. Scores, highlights of tonight's action, and also the latest on the suspension of Isaiah Ryder. You know, last night Isaiah Ryder was late to the game and did not start. That happened in the Portland game we did televised last week, and the general feeling of Dunleavy is if you're late, you don't start. Right. He happened again, and then late in the ball game, despite the fact that Isaiah Ryder had played very well in the game and scored something like 24 points in 27 minutes, when he was pulled out of the game with about 7 minutes to go, there was a discussion between Dunleavy and Isaiah Ryder, and Ryder left the bench and went in the locker room.
I tell you what.
And now has been suspended.
They should be able, I know they can't do it legally, but they should be able to take the gloves off for that type of insubordination. There's no reason that should not be tolerated at all. Heavy fine. Heavy fine, because it's the only way you can hurt a player is messing with his playing time or hitting him in the pocket.
2 missed threes. Robinson with the rebound. 4-point Spurs lead. Jaren Jackson slashing, dishing. Inside Duncan from Del Negro. Duncan missed it.
Well, the offensive position that Duncan and Robinson are getting in this game is phenomenal. They couldn't ask for a better position offensively, receiving the basketball anywhere they want on the floor.
10 on the shot clock. Spreading the floor now for Hersey Hawkins. That's a triple from Detlef Schrempf.
That's great ball movement. You got Payton posted up on the strong side at 6'4", kicking it out to Schrempf 6'10", and then over into the weak side corner. Hersey Hawkins filling it up.
Sonics 5 out of 12 from beyond the arc. Hawkins' first triple of the night. 8 on the shot clock. Duncan gets the double team. Tried to pass it. Good defensive play by Hersey Hawkins, cutting into the middle. Here's Payton off to Dale Ellis. 20-footer. Loose ball foul is going to be on Gary Payton.
A little too much contact down low.
That's his second.
Check out this ball movement. Look at Gary Payton. Now, you said this. One of the things he does best is pass the basketball out of these positions. Makes Duncan look at him, and then there goes the rotation. You see Del Negro a little bit late and leaving Hersey Hawkins wide open in the corner for the 3.
Spurs lead it by 1 point, and they can thank their stars for free throws here. Tonight, going into this free throw, you see San Antonio 14 out of 20. Duncan 6 out of 7. David Robinson shot 4 out of 5. And only 5 for 6. The Sonics not getting to the line. That's part of what George Karl has been saying to the referees, and probably part of what led to the technical just moments ago. Dale Ellis goes to the bench.
Well, he was a little surly earlier today, not real happy about his situation from last night, and he wants to keep his players on their toes. Not a bad technical move on his part, and seeing if the intensity level is still going to be there. At this point, with 1:46, he can carry that technical foul and that emotion on into the locker room for the second half of this basketball game.
Dale Ellis will sit down, and James Cotton, the rookie from Long Beach State, steps onto the floor. He had 8 points in only 4 minutes last night versus Houston. Gary Payton working against Avery Johnson. As he gets into the paint and delivers so well, back to Perkins. Inside to Baker, can't handle it, got his back. Great hands by Vin Baker.
Knocked it down. That's the one thing I always say. If you can't catch it outright, just knock it down.
Vin Baker played at Hartford College. How did he get this good this quickly, and why wasn't he at North Carolina or somewhere?
I tell you what, Vin Baker is great talent. You know, in high school, as a senior, he was only 6'7". As he became a freshman in college, he was 6'10". So that means he grew up having the basketball, which gives him the skills of a small forward at 6'10".
Count the basket on the continuation as Gary Payton beat everybody down the floor. Sonics have taken the lead by 1 now, 58-57, 1:03 to go in the half.
Look at Vin handling the ball in the break, giving it up to the guy he's supposed to, and the Seattle Supersonics put so much pressure on you because they got 2 or 3 guys that can put the ball on the floor, and they have guys that are finishers. So it's a real tough team in the open floor as well as on the perimeter.
Del Negro picked up the personal foul. That's his second. We have a minute to go in the half.
And the one thing you do know about the Seattle Supersonics, they got another level and a half defensively that they can go. It's going to be interesting if they're able to turn this defense up in the second half of this game.
5 on the shot clock for Del Negro. 4 threes. Going to have to get past Perkins. All the way Duncan. Beat the buzzer. Count the basket. Heads up play by Vinny Del Negro.
Great pass by Vinny, taking it all the way to the wire, but when he delivered the ball to Duncan, you see he caught it up above his head, and it never moved. He rolled it straight to the bucket.
Seattle was looking for a 2-for-1, and the glove has it stolen by Avery Johnson to Tim Duncan. George Karl was wanting a 2-for-1. Peyton was thinking about that, took his eye off the ball. Johnson stole it, delivered it to Duncan, and we have a 2-point Spurs lead with 10 seconds in the half.
And there goes those little guys again, making it happen for the big fellas.
Crowd on their feet. Ben Baker lost the dribble. Here's Avery Johnson.
He's got time.
It'll count. Oh! Beat the buzzer! 63-59. The Spurs on a spurt with 2 tremendous defensive plays. Credit Avery Johnson. Oh, that's an exciting ball game. We're on our way here to 126-118.
Look at Avery Johnson. Oh, he just went around the back with 1 second on the clock. Bang, baby, take it into halftime.
This is 2 plays ago. Del Negro trying to beat the shot clock.
See where he caught it? Never moved it. Shot it right on the top.
There's the steal.
Defense all the way. You don't rip the glove off too often. And then Sam, look what's coming up behind you. Sam, man, I am.
You sound like Dr. Seuss. Duncan with 20 points at the half, and Avery Johnson has 5 assists.
Bob, you don't read those books?
Join Ahmad Rashad for NBA Hollywood, Sunday on NBC.
I've been vending Coors Light for a long time. It's who I am. At home, it's, hey, beer man, pass the peas. When the mail comes, it says, hey, beer man, you may have won $10 million. Being the beer man's a wonderful thing. People know Frost Brewed Refreshment. They're always happy to see me, and I'm recognized wherever I go.
Hey, beer man.
Hey, bobbin head doll man. Coors Light! Coors Light!
In a city on the edge of darkness.
What is happening here? Why is everyone asleep?
On a night that never ends.
Sleep now. Who are they?
John Murdoch's search for a past.
They set you up with a fake identity.
Will lead to a future.
You are the subject of their experiment.
Beyond all imagination.
We all are.
Dark City, rated R. Starts Friday, February 27th.
Let me tell you a little love story. Happened at this wedding. Groom's buddies all sneak out and do the usual number on the groom's car, right? There it was, the most perfect black Ford Mustang known to man. So right when Mr. Shaving Cream's about to pull the trigger...
I can't do it, man. What? Just can't do it.
I mean, it's a Mustang. It'd be like the facing a national monument or something. Ford Mustang, built to last.
And we are in studio at the break at the Alamodome. They are rocking right now. Avery Johnson finding Tim Duncan for 2 of his 20 first half points, and the Spurs with a 4-point advantage over the Sonics at the break. And we welcome you to the Nike Halftime Report along with Cheryl Miller. I'm Vince Giulini, and here is the buzzword. Tonight at the Hive in Charlotte, the Chicago Bulls, fresh off an uninspired effort in beating Toronto at home on Tuesday, hoping not to be stung again on the road. Only 13-13 are the Bulls away from the United Center. We head to Charlotte now for some highlights here at Scottie Pippen. Hauling in a pass, looking like a wide receiver there, but feeding Ron Harper on the alley-oop for 2, and the early 6-point Bulls lead. Now Ron Harper returns the favor. The alley-oop to Scottie Pippen, who had 15 in the first half. Bulls were up by 8 at that point. Bulls bringing the ball down. Randy Brown to the recovering Michael Jordan. Flu-ridden in New York City, but looking very strong in this game. And it is the cold and flu season. Let's face it, 60-54 now in the third quarter. Jordan with 20 there. Wesley trying to answer with 14 for the Hornets. Well, the Bulls open the night a half game back of Indiana in the Central. Pacers, Miami, meeting of Eastern Division leaders. Mark Jackson coming away with with the ball and the pass down to Reggie Miller. Lays it up and in, gets the foul, and then Reggie on the inside, Reggie from outside. Zoe getting there late. Wow. And Reggie picking up the technical for taunting Alonzo a little bit.
Hey, he was just trying to tell Zoe to get off his bunion.
No sibling stuff there, huh? 15 points at the half for Reggie. They're 21 now in the game. And Indiana really doing a number on Miami so far. You see the time left there in the third quarter in this final meeting between the teams. All right, the Indiana Pacers, what a nice win that would be for them at this point in the second half.
Well, it would be a great win, especially when you consider that they're only a half a game ahead of Chicago. And if you look at the second half of the schedule for the Pacers, it will be tough. They have 16 games remaining on the road. 10 of those are against teams that are above 500. A big win tonight against Miami would be a huge lift for the Pacers.
We'll keep tabs on that. Now from on the court to something that spilled to off the court. Portland's Isaiah Rider, who walked out of last night's home game against the Lakers with around 7 minutes remaining after arguing with his coach Mike Dunleavy about his shot selection during a timeout, has been suspended for Thursday's game in Phoenix. On top of this, Rider on Wednesday played the race card, saying some Portland staff members give him dirty looks and accused one of them of racism. Even the city of Portland itself absorbed a Rider shot.
Do you feel there's racism in the Blazers organization or in the Portland area?
Well, it's definitely in the area. It's definitely in the area.
What are you talking about? Instances maybe.
Come on now. we can go 40 miles down the way. They're probably still hanging people from trees. But anyway.
Well, Cheryl, we talked about this before the night began, and that's a pretty strong statement right there.
Well, Vince, I think for the topic to go from shot selection to racism is a bit extreme. And even though Isaiah Rider might feel that way, it should have been more on his job to go to talk to the president, Bob Whitsitt, or to sit down with Coach Mike Dunleavy and discuss these issues instead of airing it out like this.
Yeah, Isaiah was booed at the Rose Garden on Tuesday night. Next time at the Rose Garden?
He hasn't heard anything yet.
Next on the Nike halftime report, magic tricks revealed. Orlando's a struggling club and without its all-star, and perhaps thrown to the wolves at Tarjay. No Anthony, no problem. We'll see.
It was just another night at Fun Police headquarters. Fun Police.
Slow down offense at Lincoln High.
Bug. Slow down offense. Call 20-second timeout. We're on our way. This is Unit 21. Possible boy basketball game in progress.
Yo, Unit 10 on the way. We copy that.
What's up, dog?
Hey, how's it going?
What's up? What's up?
What's up? Let's go, baby. I got you. Right, you having fun now?
It was just one game, one town. The job of the Fun Police is never done.
One anniversary card with 2 tickets to Indy inside, $3,500. Caravan to the Blue City, $64. Boat to the Palace on the Lake, $28. 25 years. More better than worse. Priceless. There are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's Platinum MasterCard. With a high spending limit for the things that matter.
Honey, we won.
Huh?
A home entertainment center, recliner, and $500 for a party.
Snickers is giving away the living room of your dreams or nightmares.
What'd we win? Oh, nothing.
Snickers. Why wait? Win some.
Cindy Crawford for Kay Jewelers.
This Valentine's Day, give a gift from the heart. Diamonds from Kay Jewelers.
Tell her she means the world to you with a diamond heart pendant. Prices start at just $99.95.
This Valentine's Day, just say Kay.
Orlando's Penny Hardaway is again hurting. Earlier this season, Penny had surgery on his left knee. It forced him to miss 26 games. He returned and started Sunday's All-Star game, then Tuesday against Indiana, before leaving with a bruised left calf, an injury unrelated to the surgically repaired left knee. Magic in Minnesota, Penny is not in uniform, out of there with the bruised left calf. Ronnie Cycli in uniform and feeding Bo outlaw who knows how to finish. Magic with a 7-point lead in the first. Then Derek Harper, historic three-pointer. The 1,000th career tray, and that puts him in 10th place on the all-time list. And the Magic at the half, 44-35. So getting it done without their all-star. First meeting of the teams this season. Bucks at the Pistons tonight. It was 46-44 Milwaukee at the half, and now Detroit has turned that around, 64-58 after three quarters. Allen with 18, Grant Hill with 11 for Detroit. After this, Pistons on a 5-game road trip. Mavs and Sixers were tied at 44 at the half, third quarter late now. Mavericks are looking for that elusive road win. They're up by a deuce at this point. But Cheryl, back to the Magic and Penny Hardaway, and certainly that name we've heard a lot over All-Star Weekend and in trade rumors.
Well, it's been certainly heating up, especially today. The rumor was that you had Penny Hardaway going to New Jersey, Sam Cassell, Kendall Gill going to Toronto, and Damon Stoudemire coming from Toronto down to Orlando. But that deal was immediately nixed. Penny Hardaway emphatically saying he does not want to go to New Jersey to play. So right now, Vince, the deal is done.
Quickly, what kind of money is Penny looking for?
Penny's looking at $200 million over 7 years.
That's
pocket change.
That's sick
pocket
money.
change.
Sick money. Back with a final word on the Nike halftime report in just a moment. At the break, the Spurs with a 4-point advantage. See you in a minute.
Yo quiero Taco Bell. Right now, get a big old order of Nachos Bel Grande for just 99 cents when you buy a large drink. Taco Bell. Want some?
In our quest for the finest brakes in the world, we tested our pads against other leading brands. With pad after pad, in test after test, the results were always the same. No other brand stopped shorter than Performance Friction Carbon Metallic, the ones we stock at AutoZone.
Later tonight, as Tracy Murray cooled off yet 50 last night in beating Golden State, his Wizards at the easy clips, and Golden State at 8-38, having beaten the Lakers last time out by 1 back on December 10th. Lakers were beaten last night at Portland. After our game, Inside the NBA wraps up the night in the NBA highlight-wise. Also, the all-natural sounds of film director Spike Lee. Longtime Knicks fan, Spike has a new pal in the Bucks, Ray Allen, a player, but what an actor. Friday, the basketball continues on the Turner Networks when TNT presents the Pistons and the Heat. 8 p.m. tip-off. It's followed by Inside the NBA. And NBC presents a doubleheader Sunday as Western Conference Warriors, Houston, and the Lakers tangle, as well as Detroit and Chicago. Also at 2 p.m., the NBC presents an NBA special where the league meets Hollywood. And it's the ultimate daytime drama, and it continues on TNT. The Olympic Winter Games. Catch the exclusive cable coverage from 1 to 6 p.m. Eastern Time on TNT. Well, last night, 50 points for Tracy Murray. You can never take that away from him. He got hot, huh?
Yeah, well, Tracy Murray's done an excellent job as far as coming off the bench and really providing some huge scoring for the Wizard. He has to continue to be the hot hand because perimeter shooting is something that the Wizards have not always had.
And this with Juwan Howard and Chris Webber both injured in that game. They are out for tonight's game as well. So Tracy has to pull the trigger. At the break in the Alamodome, it's the Spurs up by 4 over the visiting Sonics. Bob and Reggie coming along with the second half in moments.
Let me make this simple. With the AT&T One Rate plan, calls from home are one low rate to anybody in America 100% of the time. So of the 24 hours, there is no hour when this rate does not apply. It's the day rate, the night rate, weekdays, weeknight. Let me put it to you this way. The time when this rate is not valid does not exist. Is that clear? Yes. You see, when I apply myself?
No games. The AT&T One Rate plan.
John Lithgow performs the Discover Card Dial-Along song.
An extemporaneous piece.
For your dialing pleasure while you call 1-800-IT-PAYS-2 and apply for your Discover Card with the Cashback Bonus Award. It pays to discover. Accepted where you see the Novus sign.
Wendy's presents great moments in hockey.
Although his hat trick thrills the crowd, Paul Basile is still cut from USA Hockey. Now win cars, cash, and great food in Wendy's Go for the Goal game.
I won!
He scores! Monahan's Larson Motor Service, your Evinrude dealer, carries the top lines, including Larson, made right in Little Falls and powered by Evinrude Outboards. Take advantage of Larson's double down deposit. Larson will double your down payment up to $1,500 total. Stop in and see the full line of Larson boats powered by Evinrude Motors at Monahan's Larson Motor Service. Right on the price, right on the water, and right next to the boat factories in Little Falls.
So, these people think they've made contact with something. Gotta figure out how to talk to it.
Mathematics is the only truly universal language.
Build a ship. Go visit the life form. Seems like a lot of work when they could have just called me.
Elvis and I talk to the aliens every night.
See Contact. It's right here on TCI Pay-Per-View.
This program is authorized under broadcasting rights granted by the National Basketball Association. Any publication, reproduction, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, or accounts of this game without the express written consent of the National Basketball Association is prohibited.
What a beautiful view. There's the Tower of the Americas on the right. On the left, the beautiful new Alamodome. Let's talk to Red McCombs, former owner of the San Antonio Spurs, and he was one of the people trying to buy the Vikings before Tom Clancy did. But that's another story. Here at 63-59, and Reggie Theus, we talked about we liked offense and expected some offense, but 63-59, both teams shooting 53%. Not much D, but a lot of O.
I tell you what, both teams doing a great job getting back into it. The Sonics struggled last night, coming back with a vengeance tonight, and then the Spurs really doing a great job down low, and then getting some nice perimeter help from the other guys.
You know, Tim Duncan is everything as advertised. Big V for versatility. Does it everywhere.
We talked about the maturity and what this kid brings to the table. Right there, you see him with a nice follow, and then his passing ability is another thing that he can do. Ball handling, jump hooks, jump shots, passing the basketball. He's got a little bit of everything, and then big fella can rebound, and he likes a little bit of contact down low.
20 points, 5 rebounds, 6 out of 7 from the line. Told you about their shooting percentages, 53 and nearly 54%. The rebounding difference, look at the Spurs, 9 offensive boards and 24-15 overall.
Well, that was one of the things George Karl was really concerned about, was their second chance shots, and they're doing a great job. Offensive rebound, 24, I'd say that's huge. But look at the free throw situation is really bad. Right now, the Spurs getting a lot more. The Sonics, George Karl upset about it, only 7 free throws for that half, and the Spurs 22 free throws for that half.
Yeah, George got a technical in the first half, and just moments ago, Scott Hastings talked with him about the second half.
Coach, 63-59, this is kind of a Seattle pace. You guys played pretty well that first half.
Well, we did a lot of good things well, but you know, you got to be concerned about our defense and our rebounding. They dominated us at the free throw line and second shots. I think I feel very fortunate being only 4 points down. You know, and that 4 points came off of 2 turnovers in the last minute of the game.
Big first half for Tim Duncan, 20 points. What do you do to try to slow him down?
Well, you know, right now it's an offensive game. Hopefully, I think the team is going to win. The team is going to play a little defense along the way. So we changed some things. We're going to be a little more aggressive on them. Hopefully, we'll get to them a little better.
Good luck second half, Coach. Back to you, Bob.
All right, yeah, the team that plays defense might win. That's not a bad idea. You look at Gary Payton as he takes off the jersey, gets ready to play. He had 15. Scoring leaders for the Sonics, Vin Baker with 14. Detlef Schrempf with 11. Dale Ellis, 9 points. Balanced scoring inside, outside. Duncan led the way with 20. David had 12. Jaren Jackson, 8. He got those very early in the ball game, and Avery Johnson, 7. And his came very late in the first half of the game. And we start with the triple towers here with Duncan and Perdue and David Robinson, with Jaren Jackson and Avery Johnson in the backcourt, and also the starting lineup of McIlvain, Vin Baker, Detlef Schrempf, Percy Hawkins, and Gary Payton for the Sonics.
Well, Bob, we talked about in the beginning of the game in our open that the defense of the Sonics was not very aggressive, and starting this game off, not really going to the double team early, which I thought they'd come out and definitely do. That's what got them in trouble in the first half. Got to pick it up defensively. Both ends of both teams, actually.
Percy Hawkins Payton, defended by Avery Johnson. Avery picked him twice right before the half ended, and Detlef Schrempf with that long-distance European-style set shot.
Well, I tell you what, one great advantage. Now, you saw it early. You got Gary Payton going to post up Avery. What that does is put one of the big 7-footers into the defensive rotation, and you know that's going to be a slow rotation as you see Detlef Schrempf able to get that shot off easily.
6 on the shot clock for Robinson against Baker. There's the double. Robinson's going to pull up and shoot it and miss it. Tim Baker gets the rebound. Got a foul call down inside on Tim Duncan. That will be 2 on Duncan. Robinson also carrying 2 personals. Nobody for either team really in foul trouble. The most on anybody is McIlvaine, who got 3 very early. Spurs by 3 points.
This is something that the Sonics have as luxury. Again, Gary Payton going back to the well. They see that they can get the big guys into the defensive rotation. Popovich really worried about this situation. Gary Payton posting, gets one of the big 7-footers, I'll say it again, into the defensive rotation, and that is a slow rotation.
Back-to-back threes for Detlef Schrempf. He has 17. There's the first 3. We got a 20-second timeout.
Okay, now you see right here, you see where Payton is going to post up in this way, and then he's going to wait for Duncan to come for the double team, and then he's going to pass the ball out to Detlef Schrempf, and that gets one of the big guys into that defensive rotation. See him right there? David Robinson slow on the second rotation. That's good scouting for the first half, going to the locker room, discussing what they need to do, coming out and executing well.
Seattle's already taken 14 threes. They've hit 7. San Antonio 3 for 5. We're tied at 65. So you might say the threes are balancing the free throws. Robinson fouled before he could put the shot up.
David Robinson and Tim Duncan and even Will Perdue all really getting great position offensively to receive the basketball. That tells me that the Seattle Supersonics are not playing defense before the ball is passed. A lot of times you have to start getting position and nudging your guys out of there before the ball comes.
That was the 4th personal on McIlvaine. David Robinson, the only person in the NBA in the top 10 in 4 different categories. The Admiral having himself a whale of a year. We talked early in the game. He had a little bit of a problem with his right knee soreness. We looked back, to the best of my memory, David has never had any kind of significant knee injury problem before. Foot, back, but not knee. Even had a hand that knocked him out of some games early in his career. Baker missing. McIlvaine rebounded. Back to Vin. Payton inside. McIlvaine's hook. No. Detlef Schrempf comes flying through, trying to grab that loose ball, but he knocked it out of bounds.
You know, I was talking about, Bob, the Seattle Supersonics allowing the Spurs to get passes where they want. This is a team that's not very physical down low, and it's a problem for them. They took a beating last night, and again tonight, playing against a team that's not really that physical, still allowing them to back them down and get shots all over the floor. You got to play the San Antonio Spurs physical. You got to bump the big guys hard because that's not really the game they want to play. David Robinson showing you one of the reasons because he got a perimeter game too.
He has 18 points, foul before the shot attempt by Vin Baker. That's Robinson's 3rd personal. By the way, speaking of the rebounding, you were talking about him not being physical. The Seattle Sonics have only 3 offensive rebounds in this game. Now, one reason is both teams are not missing. But only 3 offensive rebounds won't get it done if they're looking for a win here tonight.
Well, Bob, as a team, they only average 39 rebounds a game. So that's really nothing for a team that is one of the best and the elite in the league.
Hawkins misses on the line drive 3 attempt, gets it back on the long rebound. Here is Gary Payton. Duncan with the rebound. Robinson with the screen. Payton's 3 out of 4 from beyond the arc. That's his first miss from out there.
When you start talking about defense, you start thinking about what the Spurs have done defensively, making teams shoot so poorly from the perimeter.
Tim Duncan has 22 now. He's 8 out of 17 from the floor. As we talk about his versatility, it's almost as though he gives us a demonstration. We see him inside. We see him outside. This is a 6-0 San Antonio run. McIlvaine and Johnson go down hard, and they're going to call the foul on Avery Johnson. Now, how could they do that? Here is McIlvaine, 7'1", 265 pounds. Avery Johnson, 6'1", soaking wet.
It's because McIlvain is stagnant. He's still staying still, and then Avery bows over him.
Drove him down.
Just drove. He stuck his shoulder into him and gave it a little extra. Here, big fella.
Get out of the way. It's called leverage in pro football. Offensive line. McIlvain, the pass was not connected. Here's Avery Johnson. I went to the reverse on that left hand to get away from Hersey Hawkins against the lay-in. So Avery's knocking down the big man, and he's knocking down the fast break baskets. It's 73-65. Spurs by 8. Their biggest lead has been
9. Believing I can make a difference wasn't the problem. I just didn't know how. I knew I couldn't do everything, but I could do one thing at a time. And I realized I wasn't the only one out there. I've learned so much from so many different people. It's been great getting involved. Team up with your community.
Isn't that a pretty sight?
So how many miles?
50? 90. 90,000 miles. Shoot, that's just getting broke in for a Chevy.
Is that a scratch?
Scratches give character.
The best long-term quality of any full-size pickup belongs to Chevy.
Women like character.
Chevy, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road.
Whew, what'd you step in?
Between the weather
And the kids.
our house really takes a beating, especially the trim.
Boy, did we need Dutch Boy.
Dutch Boy door and trim paint is tough.
It resists cracking and peeling from rain and standing water.
In basketball games,
You can scrub it and even the tough stains come clean. This paint even resists fading from the sun.
we get a lot of sun.
Dutch Boy door and trim paint stands up to Mother Nature.
And us.
Give your home the lasting look.
Boy, did we need Dutch Boy.
The NBA on TBS is brought to you by Genuine Chevrolet, the cars more Americans trust. And by Dutch Boy Paints. Give your home the lasting look of Dutch Boy.
Well, the Spurs are up 73-65, and is it possible? Are we seeing some defense? Well, according to Greg Popovich, defense is the name of their tune for the second half of the season.
This team is committed to playing defense, to being physical, and I think if you look at not just the stats, but look at how they play, it's a different club in that respect. Now, we don't have players that do what Oakley does. You can't make somebody something he's not, but as a whole, you can add to that mental toughness and be more demanding in that sense, and I think that they've reacted to that.
Well, Bob, last night, Popovich noticed how physical Kevin Willis was with the Seattle team, and he told his players that they have to come out and be physical tonight with this Seattle Supersonic team.
Vin Baker getting inside over Purdue for the knockdown. Vin Baker now has 16, and we have a 73-67 game, 7:49 to go in the third period. So pressure on Payton on Avery Johnson.
Well, this is also a team, you talk about the Spurs, they're really working hard to get rid of that soft thing. That is one of the most negative things you can say about a team, especially a big team like this. But they know that in the playoffs, they have to be able to play defense if they're going to go to the big dance, and they feel that they can really get to the finals.
Got a hold on David Robinson before he could attempt the shot. That's the third on Vin Baker.
Vin Baker down low. Watch how he turns inside. He's just going to the defense. I like how he feels he wants that pressure. He wants to go to the defense and play off of that pressure. That's rough.
Going back to Robinson against Baker. That's 4 on Baker.
That's big foul. And that's the agility of David Robinson out on the court. So tough. Being able to catch it at 7 feet and face you up. Look at the nice little rocker step with the left hand. Vin Baker can't get his feet together or moving.
Think of the classic idea of the big man and post-up plays and post-up defense. There you looked at Vin Baker and David Robinson playing like two guards 18 feet away from the basket.
I tell you what, it's the best and the worst thing about this team is the fact that they've got so much ability in their big men that they don't bang. And I tell you what, they want to get rid of that soft label. Well, they're going to have to go an awful long way in the playoffs to get rid of that label.
Back down to Duncan. His pass was intercepted. He went back and got it. Got another whistle. This one is on Detlef Schrempf. That'll be his second personal foul. Baker is, I told you he couldn't get the smile off his face. Well, I got the smile off his face. And he's got the towel on his face.
Well, you know, he's a real emotional guy. You know, as quiet as he seems, he's got a lot of spirit inside of him, and he knows that that was not a smart foul, and he's not happy to have to go to the bench under those circumstances.
All right, that would be a good time for the coach to avoid saying, hey, you just got your fourth foul.
Yeah.
He doesn't need to know that. Shrimp.
Sometimes, Bob, as coaches say, it's what you don't say is what's most important.
Yeah, Carl's an expert at knowing what not to say, and that's the truth. Detlef Schrempf now with 19 points to lead all Seattle scorers. Got a high pick and roll with Jackson and Purdue. They go away from 10 on the shot clock. Jaren Jackson, more of a driving, slashing player. Purdue this time this leap, and he comes away with a rebound.
Jackson gave up on the offense in that play. Didn't have to take that shot.
Percy Hawkins missing. Tim Duncan crashing the boards, but he's going to be called for the loose ball foul as he ran into McIlvain, and Tim Duncan just picked up his third.
Tim Duncan looking like he can't believe that. Can you possibly be calling that at me? All I did was run in there from the top of the key and just knock McIlvain over.
He said, hey, he's easy to knock over. Avery Johnson knocked him over a minute ago.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what he said.
That's cold.
That's what I'd be saying if I'm his lawyer. 6:25 to go in the third period. Have a 20-second timeout for the Sonics. Spurs lead at 75-69. A big reduction in the scoring that we saw in the first half of this game. It was 63-59 at halftime, San Antonio. San Antonio defending a 15-game home winning streak. And during that time, no team has scored more than 90 points. I have a feeling that that part of the streak is in jeopardy tonight.
Well, there's no question that the Sonics are going to get more than 100 points. But, you know, we're playing in a dome. And I was wondering before I got here tonight if it was a fact, because I know as a player, and I know all players around the league, you know, a lot of players have a hard time shooting in domes. So I had our stats guy look up and see how their defense was at home and on the road. But to my surprise, it's as good on the road also.
Sonics trailing by 6, 6:15 to go in the third period. Perkins trying to get it to Payton on a post-up on the baseline. 7 on the shot clock. Gary Payton backing in on Avery Johnson. And the basket and the foul. Gary Payton, I think, you know, I haven't got many arguments on this. I think he's the best point guard in the NBA.
Oh, there's no question about that. And people forget that this post-up game is probably the best part of his game other than his defense. Tremendous. And, you know, we were talking about the shooting in the dome. And here the Seattle Supersonics come in here shooting well in this dome. And you forget they play in the dome sometime themselves. So this is not something that they're not accustomed to.
Spurs by 3, 6 minutes to go in the period. Defensive intensity picking up on the part of both teams in this third period after they both shot 53 or better in the first half. 10 on the shot clock. Jaren Jackson looking for Tim Duncan, the double team. I mean, that is a double team, folks.
That's a triple team, leaving Avery Johnson wide open. Made a smart move, gets it over to the rifleman.
Chuck Person hit it at the buzzer. Count the triple. 6-point lead for the Spurs.
Now you have to know that going into halftime, both these teams talked about their lack of defense out on the floor and too much scoring. And I'd say it's getting a little bit physical, Bob.
Schrempf with the pass.
You're talking about a double team. This was like a triple team here, guys. Seattle coming over with 3 of their players. Duncan really didn't have any place to go. Now watch him when he gets it over to Avery Johnson. He allows the defense to come and then gets it over to a shooter. Right there, Dell Ellison rotation. Gary Payton, too late, baby.
Chuck Person with the foul. That's his second. Perkins gets the first one. He doesn't get it. And let's go to Scott Hastings.
Bob, just a while ago, we saw a couple examples of how to guard a big man and how not to guard a big man. When you saw Vin Baker backing down Will Perdue, guy's got his back to the basket. You can't be off him. You can't be away from him. They get too good of a position close to the basket. And then, of course, Vin Baker, when he picked up his foul, and Robinson, when they're facing, you got to back off. He didn't do a good job doing that.
You're out of bounds, last off Seattle.
Scott, you're 100% right. The biggest thing is, and I know because you did a lot of banging in your day, that when the man is backing you down, you got to put a body on him. You got to get that knee wedged up in between his legs. When the guy is facing you up, you got to close up the distance or back off, depending on who is the shooter.
Jaren Jackson with the triple from the corner. 81-73. Jaren Jackson's a 36% three-point shooter on the season, so that's not a foreign shot to him. Duncan keeps it alive. Avery Johnson, 2-on-3. Johnson beats everybody. Avery Johnson having a whale of a game. He's got 11 now, and that matches the biggest lead. It is now the biggest lead of 10 points.
Well, this is a huge game for the San Antonio Spurs. Avery Johnson doing a great job the whole game. And what I like about that layup was this. Watch, when he gets down court, he sees he's going to go against a bigger Perkins. What does he do? He uses the rim, goes to the opposite side. That stops the big man from swiping it off the glass.
Of course, he likes that left hand.
Well, you know, yeah, he's going to a strong suit, but just think about it. You put it up right-handed or left-handed, Perkins can go up and get your shot as it's on its rise. Smart play.
Jaren Jackson had the personal foul in the previous play, by the way. 4:37 to go in the third. 83-75, Spurs by 8. They built their biggest lead of 10, defending a 15-game home winning streak.
Well, the thing that's sticking out in my head most about Seattle right now, as the Spurs are just taking them apart defensively and offensively right now.
Got the turnover. Johnson, who hit the low on the arm. Puts it back in again. Avery Johnson, 6 straight points and the foul.
And Bob, that's getting jiggy with it. Avery Johnson showing us he's got a lot of herky-jerky in his game. Pulling the string, showing it to him on the backside. Watch him on the steal. He's going to take him. Give it back to the little fella. Now watch him pull the string on him. Oh, Perkins, find me into the bucket.
It's a 12-point Spurs lead. Timeout Seattle. 4:12 to go in the third quarter. Boy, I'm telling you, Avery Johnson now has 15 points.
Makes me want to play.
Join Paul and Annabelle and watch Saturday Night Fever this Friday on Dinner and a Movie.
Hey, help me figure this out. Usually the more gizmos you want, the more money you gotta spend. Then there's a Chevrolet Cavalier. It gives you a lot of the same gizmos that make expensive cars easy to live with for about half the price. If you forget to lock your doors, the Cavalier is still protected by a gizmo called a theft deterrent system. If you leave your dome light on, it turns it off. My house doesn't even do that. Get the car that's easy to own, a Cavalier. Genuine Chevrolet, the cars more Americans trust.
What are you doing today?
Shopping for a car.
Where?
Gilliland Chevrolet.
Can I come along?
Sure, pull up a chair.
I thought you said you were going to buy a car.
I just did.
Shop for your next car on the internet. www.gillilandchev.com.
Fear of flying can be overcome. First, choose a friendly airline.
Welcome to Con Air.
Get to know your fellow passengers. Sing a soothing song.
He's got the whole world in his hand.
And if all else fails, kiss your bottom. Bye-bye!
See Con Air. It's right here on TCI pay-per-view.
$87-75, San Antonio. A lot of knocks on Avery Johnson about not being as good a point guard as this team needs. But David Robinson would disagree.
I tell you what, look at that. He did it all over, getting on the ground, knees, kicking it, and then this is what made the play. Duncan, following up hard, gave Perkins the idea that Avery might give it back to him. And then Avery pulled the string on it, and David's loving it. Showing them biceps to everybody.
Avery Johnson making the Southern Jaguars proud as he steps to the free throw line.
Avery's my man. He'll come up to me after the game and say, "Ranky, did you see me pull the string on him?"
You know, pretty good Avery Johnson. 87-75 Spurs, 4:03 to go in the period. How about this? Since the first period, the Spurs are hitting 22 of 78 shots. That's right around 70%. Jaren Jackson with the steal.
When we talked about the Spurs defense, they've showed us examples of where they come from all night long. Inside defense and perimeter defense. Contrary to Seattle, who seems a little bit soft defensively tonight.
Tim Duncan's tied up down there by Payton, and Shrimp turned it over, and that lay-in.
And that's one of the few times that the Sonics trap has been really effective. Last time I told you earlier that the Sonics made the Spurs play horizontal basketball. This game, they're trying to play a lot more on the weak side and bring their post-up position a little higher so the traps are not nearly as effective. And so far, it's been a gem for the Spurs.
Spurs shooting 81% and since the first quarter. Nick Jones with a call on the illegal defense. Here's the trapping from the play before that forced the turnover.
Well, we talked about Seattle not being nearly as aggressive. That's one of the few times tonight they've gotten a hand on an out pass from the post. And Seattle doing a better job in that defensive position. Maybe it's something that George Karl was talking about with his interview with Hastings about getting his defense in line.
87-77, San Antonio.
You see how Payton had to wait with David facing up? It's too tough.
Duncan keeps it alive, but Vin Baker steps in to pull down the rebound. And the Sonics with Payton, Dale Ellis on the floor now, Sam Perkins, Percy Hawkins. They have some firepower. That was Chuck Person getting his long arm in there. But it's turnover back again. Thank you very much, and Ellis lays it in.
Got a little lucky on that one, getting it back. But Seattle traditionally loves to play against a big team. But this is a little bit different big team because their big men are very agile. And it's going to give them an opportunity to do a lot of different things around the perimeter. And they're pretty good passers. As a matter of fact, Tim Duncan could be the best passing big man in the game.
Sam Perkins missing from long range. Duncan with the rebound. Both teams with 7 turnovers now. The defensive intensity picks up, and so do the turnovers. 87-79 Spurs. 2:02 to go in the third period, and we have a timeout. San Antonio from the Alamodome.
Meet Sean Graham, veteran stuntman. This is how he lives. This is what he drives. What else would he drive? Chevy S10, like a rock.
And I was just catching up to the crossover. So how do you do this new move?
I do a slow spin to let the defender see which direction I'm going in. And once he tries to beat me to the spot, I put the ball behind my back and go in another direction.
And DMX, it cushions and stabilizes every step. With the other moves, you're never where they expect you to be.
Yeah, I wonder what they'll say about this one.
Says here you ran over a squirrel when you were 16.
Oh, you saw that, huh?
No, I was guessing. You never put the toilet seat down.
What?
You ripped the tag off your mattress.
What?
Does your bachelor party ring a bell?
Not going anywhere for an eternity?
I'm not even gonna look at puberty.
Hey, does this line ever move?
Moving now, isn't it?
When you're really hungry, grab the big one.
Next, you're a winner.
Vince Giuliani back at TBS Central. What a game taking place down in the Hive now. Chicago and Charlotte nursing a 1-point lead. Michael goes to work. The reverse wraparound and a 3-point Chicago lead. They have 20.3 left in the game right now. Jordan has 29 in the game. Glenn Rice with 16 of his 28 in the fourth quarter. We'll keep you up to date on this one. Right now, back to the Alamodome.
A big game tonight between Chicago and Charlotte. How many times have we seen that? Here it's 87-79. San Antonio, 2:02 to go in the third period. Since the first period, the Spurs are shooting at around 80%. And first game back in November was, I think, 97-74 Sonics, 20-point game in that ballpark. That was 9 and 8 points apiece for the Twin Towers. But look at tonight, 18 and 24.
I tell you what, Bob, the first game, we talked about it, the traps by Seattle were tremendous. They didn't allow the big guys to get involved at all. Tonight, the traps are much softer.
Door cut, Jaren Jackson draws the foul. A little eye contact between Jaren and Duncan.
That's very nice, but Sam Perkins not allowing anything coming in there soft. There was no chance to block that. Just take him down.
Looking at some scores, you saw Detroit got a win tonight over Milwaukee.
Well, the one thing that you have to do, and I think the Spurs are doing a great job tonight with this, with the Seattle Supersonics, is that they're moving the basketball. Their ball movement has been tremendous, and then they're not settling for just jumpers. They're putting it on the floor and taking it to the hole, getting it inside, making that defense trap more than once. The first trap is always easy, but can the Sonics trap twice? And that's where they're making their big mistake.
Sonics have led by 12. They lead now by 10 with 1:45 to go in the period. You saw the 17-point advantage in free throw attempts tonight. That's part of the reason that the Sonics are trailing by 10. Baker working inside, and Ben has 18.
I tell you, see, when he gets the ball and does that little corkscrew, it's not like a 6'11 guy. You're looking at a guy that's probably 6'7" there with the way he handles the basketball.
Tim Duncan on the drive, past Baker, showing a little of the same back. Putting it on the floor from 17 away and getting the lay-in past Ben Baker.
And Bob putting it on the floor with his left hand. Big time.
Greg Anthony in at the point now. 1 minute to go in the third period. Baker trying to get it back to Payton, but some real smothering defense played by Jaren Jackson. Jaren Jackson simply denied the ball, denied Gary Payton the chance to get the ball. As you take a look at the
look at Duncan, put it on the floor left-handed, 2 or 3 dribbles, and then finish with the stop, pull up, go up with 2 hands with the right.
Unsung hero tonight has been the great play of Jaren Jackson defensively. The rifleman, quick trigger.
Well, also, he's hit some perimeter shots for him, something they desperately need.
Yeah, Jackson has 13 points. 3 out of 4 from beyond the arc. Perkins has Purdue way out there on it. Then Baker gets it in over Tim Duncan. What a matchup it is with Duncan. Loose ball foul. Count the basket, but a loose ball foul. And it's on Seattle.
Yeah. That shows a little bit of frustration. The time before you saw Perkins take out Jaren Jackson pretty hard, and then after the fact again, quite a bit more contact.
Payton picked up his 3rd personal now. Baker has 4. 24.2 to go in the quarter. 24 on the shot clock. Jaren Jackson will shoot it. That was after the basket was made. The loose ball foul.
Well, you know, last night they played a very physical basketball game. Today a shoot around. George Karl said that if you played 30 minutes or you're over 30 years old, you don't have to come. Only a couple of guys showed up. But right there, after the shot went in, Payton really just gave him a 2-hand push in the back. And that has to be a little frustration on the Seattle Supersonics part.
Yeah, Jaren Jackson with 14, Avery Johnson 15. That's 29 points out of the guards tonight. For San Antonio, 15 in the quarter. Sonics looking for the last shot. Trailing by 9. Payton gets around Purdue. How do you get that in?
Wow, I tell you what, he just knifed his way through there because he had 2 7-footers standing in between him.
It'll count. Another buzzer beater for Avery Johnson. Avery had a buzzer beater at the half, and now a buzzer beater at the end of the third period. Avery Johnson with 17 points.
And he's racing against the clock, goes through 3 Seattle Supersonics defenders and just puts it in the hole. And I tell you what, those shots are not nearly as difficult when you got your momentum headed for the bucket. You got a nice head of steam.
Avery Johnson. Wow. Headed into the final 12 minutes with the Spurs up 9.
A good wedding singer takes pride in his appearance, gets along with kids, respects the wedding guests.
One more outburst, I will strangle you with my microphone wire. You understand me?
And sets the mood for young lovers.
Love stings?
Adam Sandler is the wedding singer.
Good wedding singer.
Rated PG-13. Starts Friday.
Did you know shopping online can improve your golf game? You spend all sorts of money on any kind of gadget you can imagine. You check your Discover card statement, and you go online and you go, okay, I remember that. Thank goodness I'm getting money back.
It pays to Discover. Accepted where you see the Novus sign.
Wendy's presents great moments in hockey. After yet another ruckus, names are written in gloves to speed up the game.
I do believe this is your glove, Chester.
Why, thank you so much, Leo. You're too kind.
Now win cars, cash, and great food in Wendy's Go for the Goal game.
Yes! He scores!
This is a Gilliland Chevrolet commercial, but I guess you figured that out. No screaming, no loud music, no dizzying graphics. That's because we think you're smart enough to know how strong the Gilliland message is without ramming it down your throat. And what is that message? Best price, no haggle pricing. Huge in-stock inventory. Gilliland's 3-5-30 used car warranty advantage. Award-winning parts and service. Gilliland Chevrolet. One price, one place. 3019 West Division, St. Cloud.
The most exciting thing to happen to TV doesn't come from a satellite dish. It comes right through the cable you already have. Introducing TCI Digital Cable. The biggest thing to happen to TV since color comes right through the cable you already have. Introducing TCI Digital Cable.
Here's your finish in Charlotte, Chicago and the Hornets, and down 2. Missed free throw, but what a finish. Comes out to Vernon Maxwell, who fires up this three-point try. It almost goes, but Chicago escapes with a 2-point win on the road. Just their 14th road win against 13 losses, 92-90. Your final, Rice and Jordan, 29 apiece. Back to Bob and Red.
All right, Chicago only trailed Indiana by half a game. Indiana playing Miami tonight. What a great race in the Central Division. Indiana doesn't look like they're going to go away either. Here's a recap of this game. We have 6 seconds on the shot clock for Vin Baker. David Robinson in there. Loose ball comes down to Will Perdue. Johnson, Jaren Jackson. These backcourt players for San Antonio, they're really no names compared to Peyton and Hawkins. Jackson and Avery Johnson have played a whale of a game. Here's the Rifleman. Baker, rebound. 12 minutes of basketball left. 94-85, San Antonio.
Again, Spurs showing some nice ball movement down there off of the Rifleman's miss. The game heating up. Defense getting a little stronger, and I see a lot more body contact down in the low post.
Jaren Jackson went for the steal. 6 on the shot clock.
Oh, now that should be traveling.
Perkins misses. Purdue rebounds. 7 rebounds in this game in limited minutes for Will Perdue.
I tell you what, Bob, you cannot touch the ball with 2 hands and drop it, pick it up, and dribble again.
Ball fake and a drive by Robinson, and he's fouled. Sam Perkins picked up his 4th personal. So some personal fouls starting to take a toll on the Sonics. Baker has 4, McIlvain 4, and Perkins 4 now for Seattle with 10:50 to go in this ball game.
And they have a pretty tough road schedule coming up. The next 4 or 5 games they played Houston last night. Tonight they play here, and then I think they play again in Los Angeles. Very important in the Western Conference standings for them to at least come away with one of these road victories. Tonight they're in a battle.
Both. David Robinson now 6 out of 9 from the free throw line tonight. David's with 18 points right now. Peyton working on Reggie Geary. From the corner, Greg Anthony misses. Geary gets the rebound. San Antonio looking like a very deep team in this game tonight. Now remember, they have not played since before the All-Star break, so they are well rested. Seattle played last night in Houston. Jaren Jackson penetrates.
Well, they've got their juices flowing, Bob, pretty strongly. I mean, this is a big game for them from a mental standpoint, and also just the fact that they got beat by 20-plus points the last time. Very important game for the mental state of mind in this race in the Western Conference.
94-85, 10-16 to go in the ball game. Scoring slowed down here at the beginning of the first 2 minutes of this fourth period.
Seattle starting to look a little bit leg weary to me offensively. Not really getting anything on their jumpers.
Shrimp trying to beat Robinson on the drive. Kicks it out to Greg Anthony. Benny Del Negro stepped in. They're not going to get the shot off. Actually, that will count. Rebound Shrimp. He did get the shot off in time. And Dale Ellis hits the jumper. Thank you very much. Bouncing the ball. First points of the quarter took over 2 minutes for the team to score. Reggie Geary looking inside to Chuck Person. Person had posted Greg Anthony.
Well, that's one of the problems when you use so many traps and you scatter so much. Greg Anthony ending up on Chuck Person down the low post and didn't get the second, as I talked about earlier, the second double team never showed up. Consequently, Chuck just used the little fella.
Yeah, 7-inch height advantage. I call it the unfair height advantage. Purdue tries to knock it out of bounds, but it's going to be off of him. It'll be Sonics ball. Tim Duncan is back into the game. Purdue goes out.
See, a lot of times in the mismatch situation, the first trap came, but then in the second trap, nobody showed up to help Greg Anthony out. Chuck Person, too big, too strong down low for Greg.
We have the two best teams in the Western Conference at battle here tonight in the Alamodome, Seattle and San Antonio. Spurs working on a 15-game home winning streak, and the Sonics beginning a very tough stretch of games against the people they'll have to beat in the West. They lost last night to Houston. Robinson inside with the bucket, 98-87, 11-point Spurs lead, 8:45 to go.
Is David Robinson the best at following up his own shot? He is so quick off the jump. Shoot the ball, one step, flex his knees, and then he's back up again.
Huge crowd in here tonight, and they are starting to get really noisy. We're at the Alamodome. They can get 30,000. I would say tonight's probably in the 20 category. That was on Robinson, his fourth personal foul. Team foul situation here as we're in the fourth quarter. That's the first on the Spurs. Also only one on the Sonics. There's Gary Payton and Sam Perkins. Payton getting a little bit of rest on the bench. He has 20 points tonight, 7 assists. Gary had 13 in the All-Star game. Official attendance here tonight, 17,000 plus. Baker inside. Murder in there, not this time. Duncan didn't get the bounce. Robinson comes in and steals the rebound. We're going to get the foul on Baker. That's 5 on Vin Baker.
Bob, that was frustration written all over his face. Banging, getting in there, going for the ball, having it, and then David Robinson taking it from him. He did not like it. If he had it his way, he was just throwing him to the ground. I told you, it's a preacher's son. He's going to slap you with that Bible.
Yeah, you never mess with a preacher's son. Don't slap him either. That's my advice. Percy Hawkins with the hold. Team fouls mounting up now. 3 on the Sonics, only 1 team foul on the Spurs. Spurs leading it 98-87 with 8:02 to go in the game. Greg Anthony on Avery Johnson, who's had a rest late in the third and early in this fourth period. The rifleman faked the long shot, goes past Ellis. Robinson kept it alive. Hawkins comes away with it for the Sonics. Hawkins an excellent rebounder for a 2-guard. San Antonio defense has been stifling. Greg Anthony open for 3. Nice ball movement by Seattle. They couldn't get it inside, so they went in and out, and Anthony comes down with a triple, and it's an 8-point Spurs lead.
Well, that's something they haven't had in this all second halftime. Passing around the horn and getting a nice clean shot from the perimeter.
Greg Anthony has 9 points in only 11 minutes tonight off the bench for the Sonics.
Somewhere a few miles from a trailhead, there is an owl who has been waiting his whole life to visit you at 3 in the morning and hoot. Humor him. The 1998 Isuzu Trooper, now with an advanced torque-on-demand traction system to help you discover a world that is large and is waiting.
No matter what sport you're into, Foot Locker's got you covered with the hottest footwear and apparel from all the top brands. Foot Locker, where it all begins.
Come along, join the biggest stars
as they soar into the night. We've hit the stage to watch the NBA play.
All across Broadway.
I love this game. NBA!
I love this game! We need a team in Siam.
I love this game!
I love this game!
Pistons, Heat, Friday night at 8. The NBA's on TNT.
Another wild finish for you tonight. This one in Philadelphia. Mavs and the Sixers down 2. Philadelphia's Theo Ratliff steals a Dallas inbounds pass. Philly pushing the ball up the floor. Allen Iverson for 3. And nails it. Now, Dallas is out of timeouts. They have to get the ball back up the floor and do. Watch what happens. AC Green's three-point attempt blocked. Michael Finley. But after the final buzzer, and then it is mayhem at the scorer's table. Nelly wants answers. Finley wants some answers. The final answer is this, delivered by Allen Iverson. It is a Philadelphia win. The Sixers snapped their 7-game losing streak. Dallas's road losing streak now at 22 games, guys.
All right, thanks, Ben. While we were away, the fast break attempt by Greg Anthony is stopped by Vinny Del Negro, who picks up the personal foul. Now, Spurs with 2 team fouls and the Sonics with 3. Inbound to Seattle. Top 2 teams in the Western Conference. Sonics with the best record. San Antonio with the second best record. Both of them turning up defense here. Dale Ellis knocks it down, and Seattle now 3 of 9 in this period. San Antonio only 2 of 5. We have a 6-point ball game. Sonics have won 6 of the last 8 games between these 2 teams here in San Antonio. Look at Avery Johnson from David Robinson, but he missed it. That's the first thing that Avery Johnson hasn't done right tonight. 6:33 to go. Vin Baker got his own putback. Vin playing with 5 personals. Baker now has 20.
Baker's so tough down there. I just love how he goes to the defense and draws contact.
Greg Anthony getting extended playing minutes here. At the 6-minute mark, I would think we're going to see Gary Payton back in this ball game. Inside, up and under David Robinson. Jump ball with Robinson and Shrimp. He wanted the foul, didn't get it.
Well, Vin Baker really walking a very thin line with the foul situation, playing very aggressively. Douglas Shrimp coming over and getting his hand, luckily probably, inside David Robinson and grabbing the ball.
So Robinson and Shrimp will jump it. David at 7. Shrimp at 6'10". Robinson easily wins it. 6 minutes to go in the ball game. 4 points. Spurs lead. Duncan travels, turns it over. Seattle with the ball and only a 4-point deficit. The last time this game was tied was at 51 apiece. The 3:19 mark of the second period.
This game having a little bit of playoff atmosphere, Bob. Vin Baker not very experienced in that area, doing a great job playing with 5 personal fouls, playing against Tim Duncan and David Robinson.
And San Antonio picking up their defensive intensity. 7 seconds on the shot clock. Ball turned over. Great defense. Del Negro has Duncan down
side. Del Negro pulls up for the jumper. 100-94. Scott Hastings, before that, we saw some intense Seattle D. Gary Payton back into the ball game now, being defended by Avery Johnson. We'll get back to Scott Hastings in just a moment. Shrimp denied the shot by Robinson. Hersey Hawkins back to Shrimp. 6 on the shot clock. Don't call this a soft San Antonio team. Shrimp drew the foul on David Robinson, and that will be the 5th on Robinson. And Scott, what do you have?
Yeah, if you watch that defense by Seattle, George Carl, that last timeout, called it all. They said, see, San Antonio cannot beat us from the outside. We need some quick doubles. Make him pass the ball. They've put a lot of pressure on both Robinson and the young fellow, and it's paid off for Seattle.
All right, Shrimp steps to the free throw line. This is only his 2nd free throw attempt tonight, but Detlef is an excellent free throw shooter.
Detlef Shrimp did a great thing. Now watch his right arm push David off, draw. He gets a little room. Then David, having to draw up that room, Detlef, the veteran that he is, gets David in the air and goes for the foul and possibly the three-point play. But that's just smart basketball. That's an offensive player's move. Push off, let the defense draw up the space, and then go for the foul. Smart.
Just under 5 minutes. Spurs by 4. Trying to get a high trap, but Avery Johnson's too quick for it to get set. 10 on the shot clock. Tim Duncan. Johnson's open. Reverses to Del Negro, looking for that jumper. Oh, and San Antonio gets his jumper back. Vinny Del Negro's hit 2 in a row now, 102-96.
And one of the things Scott Hastings was talking about is the trapping situation and the fact that the Spurs really don't shoot that well from the perimeter. But tonight, the ball movement that they have, the inside-out game, making the Seattle Supersonics look to make 2 or 3 possible traps has really been a plus for them.
Perkins with the triple. That was his first field goal of the night. 102-99, a 3-point game. Del Negro, not this time. Big board, Duncan.
Seattle feeling that the clock is now their enemy, trying to pick up that defense, but it's a hard thing to turn on with less than 5 minutes to go in the game. But the Spurs are playing so well.
Looked like a rookie shot from Duncan that time. He put the shot up very quickly. It is a 3-point Spurs lead with 3:48 to go. They're going to post up Gary Payton. Draws the double team. Open man, Hersey Hawkins. Misses the triple. Robinson with the rebound. That would have tied the game.
Now you saw the difference in that situation. They didn't double with the close guy. They doubled with the backside guy. Guy didn't leave that first shooter wide open.
Duncan now defended by Sam Perkins. Lob inside. David Robinson. Blocked by Baker, and they got a jump ball. What a play by Vin Baker on David Robinson.
Well, we talked about Vin Baker not having a lot of playoff atmosphere. Playoff expertise, but right here he's showing he can play with this type of atmosphere under these type of circumstances, going up playing with 5 fouls, making a great block, forcing it into a jump ball.
Timeout of the 4, 3:23 to go. 3 points, Spurs lead.
How much do I get paid? $3,000. For $3,000, you can inject me with the Ebola virus.
A scientist promised Daryl Witherspoon super senses. But they forgot to tell him about the side effects. Now, he's sightless.
Can you show me where the suits are? Young blind brother, I'm gonna fix you up real good.
Tasteless. Clueless.
Is this your first time?
No, it's that time.
Marlon Wayans, David Spade. Senseless. Rated R. Starts Friday, February 20th.
Monahan's Larson Motor Service, your Evinrude dealer, carries the top lines, including Crestliner, made right in Little Falls and powered by Evinrude Outboards. Take advantage of Crestliner's exclusive 20+3 protection plan, a 20-year warranty on the hull, and 3 full years on virtually everything else from bow to stern. Stop in to see the full line of Crestliner boats powered by Evinrude Motors at Monahan's Larson Motor Service. Monahan's Larson Motor Service, right on the price, right on the water, and right next to the boat factories in Little Falls.
Fear of flying can be overcome. First, choose a friendly airline.
Welcome to Con Air.
Get to know your fellow passengers. Sing a soothing song.
He's got the whole world in his hand.
And if all else fails, kiss your bottom bye-bye.
See Con Air.
It's right here on TCI Pay-Per-View.
Now it's time to take a look at tonight's Dutch boy in the paint. Rebounding pretty close. Spurs with a 5-rebound edge. The scoring, Duncan and Robinson doing it inside. Baker and Shrimp with 34 down 12, scoring in the paint. Coming up on Turner Sports, we have some beauties coming your way. Friday at 8 o'clock, Detroit down in Miami. Detroit won tonight. Alvin Gentry, the new head man there against Pat Riley's Heat. Then at 8 on Tuesday, Detroit comes back here to San Antonio. San Antonio hoping to be still defending their home court winning streak. And on Wednesday at 8 Eastern time, New York goes to Utah on TBS. We have the jump ball with Robinson and Baker, both of them carrying 5 fouls. Both teams with 3 team fouls, so they have fouls to give here with the last 3 minutes, 22 seconds. And Seattle comes away down 3.
And still mixing it up, Bob. These guys are not worried about their foul situation. That's a team player for you. Not worried about it and going in and mixing it up.
Payton trying to work on Avery Johnson inside. Got some help down there. Forced it back outside. Now Vin Baker, 7 on the shot clock. Working on Duncan. Perkins for 3. It's tied at 102.
And that's a big shot for Sam Perkins. I watched him before the game, and he sat out there and shot in about a 5-minute span, about 53 pointers from the same exact spot on the opposite side.
We've got an old fashioned Western shootout here with the 2 best teams in the West. 2:42 to go. It's tied at 102. 7 on the shot clock. Looking to post Duncan, but the rifleman just launches it anyway. Great play by Chuck Person off Shrimp. It'll be San Antonio ball.
That is just pure hustle. The rifleman jumping out of bounds. Looks like he had no place to go. Look at this hustle. Douglas Shrimp is going to let it go. Rifleman, get in there and make something happen.
Tied at 22. Both teams shooting about 25% in this period, indicating the intensity of the defensive level. David Robinson misses. Perkins rebounds out of bounds. Knocked out by Robinson. Sonics ball. Tied at 102.
Well, with 2 minutes and 24 seconds of both teams having 3 full timeouts, there's a lot of basketball being played here yet to go.
Payton got the pick from Shrimp. Now they've got the mismatch. Shrimp on Avery Johnson. And we got a foul away from the ball. It's going to be called on Jaren Jackson. Trying to hold Ellis. Ellis was trying to get around a screen so they could open him up for a 3-point attempt. Jackson grabbed him, got the foul. Now the team foul situation. The Spurs have committed 4, so the next one will send the Sonics to the line. Seattle with 3 team fouls, if you look at our reset. So the Sonics with 1 foul to give. 2 minutes to play. Rough game. Jackson just decked Dale Ellis. Perkins fakes the shot, goes to the drive, and the 6'9 Perkins gets the lay-in, and the Sonics have taken the lead. 104-102, and they're on a 10-2 run.
And that might have been with David's blessings because he doesn't need that extra foul.
3-second violation on San Antonio. 2-point lead for the Sonics, and they get the ball back.
Sam Perkins showing us a little old school. He shot the 3-pointer last time. This time waited for the defense and then put it on the floor. David Robinson can't afford another foul. Has to let Perkins lay it in.
Well, these are the best 2 records in the West. This is a fitting kind of battle. Payton to Dale Ellis. Jaren Jackson has just been all over Dale. Jackson has been all over everything, including the floor. Then Baker reaches down to grab it. Jaren Jackson wanted to get the 20. He's flirting with a technical. They got him calmed down, and now it's going to be a jump ball with Jackson and Vin Baker. Minute 26 to play in the game. 104-102 Sonics.
It would have been a bad time for the rookie to get a technical. He sure jumped around enough. Referees don't like to be showed up like that, even if they're wrong.
Baker gets the tip to Shrimp. It was punched away and then controlled by Chuck Person.
I tell you what, that was enough contact. There was some pretty heavy contact in that loose ball. Chuck Person poking it from behind Douglas Shrimp, and George Karl is beside himself because he saw the same contact that I'm talking about.
Timeout on the floor. 1:17 remaining. Sonics by 2.
Wow, it's crunch Crunch time, folks. 3 seconds to play in a tie ball game. Wooten has the ball. This one's come right down to the wire. Wait a minute. They're leaving the floor. Where the heck are they going?
Nice place, man.
Nestle Crunch. It's just more fun to munch.
White Crunch, ahoy!
Nestle Crunch also comes in creamy white chocolate. It's just more fun to munch.
When did you last go far from the lights of the blazing electric metropolis and look up? The 1998 Isuzu Trooper, equipped with a new advanced torque-on-demand traction system to go places the power company can't find.
You know me like a book. You know my moves before I make them. I go right, you're there. I go left, you're there before me. I shoot from downtown, you're in my face. The only way to beat you is to go right at you. That's what I'm gonna do tonight. Tonight, I'm gonna own you. Ready? Let's go.
Spurs 15-game home winning streak on the line, down 2. And here's the controversial call, non-call.
Now watch, look at that's a lot of contact with Chuck Person going over the back of Detlef Schrempf, popping that ball loose. Even in a loose ball scenario, that was still quite a bit of contact and got George Karl very upset.
Now it'll be Spurs ball. Remember, Seattle does have a foul to give. Minute 17 to go. Spurs down 2. Person hits a triple and gives the Spurs a 1-point lead. Oh, baby.
That is big time.
Detlef Schrempf. Sam Perkins, does he have another one? Not this time. Very physical basketball. Bodies flying. Loose ball foul is going to be called on Seattle's Detlef Schrempf.
Chuck Person all over Detlef. The reason they have this ball right now is because his defense, and then right here showing why they call him the rifleman from long distance.
Remember, Sonics have a foul to give. Under a minute to go. No fouls to give. This is going to make somebody upset. Let's see the call. Still talking.
I tell you
Spurs
what.
ball.
Now, what's disappointing in that scenario is that I thought that Gary Payton should have been on both knees, not trying to get that ball, not just trying to pick it up off the ground. He should have just went over and cradled it.
Spurs by a point. Sonics with 41 seconds. 3 seconds. Jackson missing. Robinson offensive board. Now there is an 11-second differential. You see it on the left and right of your screen in the shot and game clock. Spurs hoping to hold on to their 15-game home win streak. They get a timeout with 27.8 in the game and 16 seconds on the shot clock. And to remind you again, no fouls to give. Spurs now have 1 full timeout remaining, no 20s. Sonics have 2 timeouts.
Well, you know, I think that was a pretty good timeout from this respect, Bob, is that they have 16 seconds, which is a lot of time in a scramble situation where the Seattle Supersonics really defensively are the best. The San Antonio Spurs can come out, set something up, and still get a real good shot. And point right now is good shots. Good shots, you're up by 1. Can't afford not to get a great shot at the basket.
You know what's interesting? We've got more than 200 points scored in this ball game, but whenever it's close and whenever it gets down in the final minute, despite the points, it's down to who gets the stop.
Who gets the stop defensively. We talked about it, Bob. We talked about the team. Coach Karl talked about whoever plays defense is going to win this game, and that is what's happening right now. With 27 seconds to go in this ball game, the Spurs don't have to shoot the ball. until 5 seconds. They could run some shot clock off, and that's when having 2 7-footers is really important. Shot clock running down, you always have a place to go, and they can always get a good shot off.
Spurs by 1, 105-104, 27.8 seconds remaining in this game. Just 27.8 away. We'll have Inside the NBA. Vince Gillani and Cheryl Miller have all the scores and highlights. A look at the New York Knicks #1 fan, Spike Lee. We saw a lot of Spike at the All-Star game over the weekend. And by the way, some tremendous games going on tonight. It's a big game in the NBA. The Chicago Bulls with a big one with Charlotte. Indiana playing Miami. We'll have all those scores and highlights for you on Inside the NBA. The crowd on their feet, 17,000 plus. The Spurs send Robinson Duncan, Jaren Jackson, who's played a great defensive game tonight, Avery Johnson, and Chuck Person. Scott Hastings, what do you have quickly?
Look for David Robinson. They're going to get it in. The Robinson down low if they can get it to him.
They can't on the inbound pass. Duncan driving. Perkins on Robinson. But 10 on the shot clock. Chuck Person missing. Ball's kept alive, out of bounds. Spurs ball, 18.4 seconds.
Somebody tell Chuck how much time is on the shot clock, guys. That was a tough shot. Again, probably going to try to go into Robinson. Really, you don't have a problem either way. Robinson's a good passer. Duncan's a good passer. And you got Chuck Persons out there playing well from the perimeter. And then you have Jackson shooting well from the perimeter in this particular game. Got a lot of ways to go.
18 seconds to go in the ball game. Out of bounds, Sonics ball. Down a point, 105-104. Timeout, Seattle. Seattle will now have 1 timeout remaining, as will the Spurs. What a ball game here. Gary Payton forced that turnover.
Gary Payton putting a lot of pressure on Jackson coming to the basketball. I would have really wanted to see them go someplace else with it. But look, not a great pass from Chuck Person. And really, Jackson couldn't handle it, but I tell you what, there was a lot of pressure of Gary Payton pushing and putting contact, and just at the right moment, you saw Gary Payton put a little bit of contact on Jackson, caused him to fumble the ball out of bounds.
San Antonio, only 4 games decided by 3 points or less. I mean, this is a team that, when they've won at home, they got this 15-game winning streak going here. This team is averaging point differential at home in that streak of 16.9 points per game. They're in a tight one here tonight. They have the lead by 1. 18 seconds remaining. Sonics will have the ball.
I tell you what, in my opinion, right now, Sonics come out of here. You got to think about what has worked for them. Now, Gary Payton in the low post has been a good play for them because that gives them action all over the floor. If they choose not to double team him, he's been able to take any one of their guards, whether it be Avery or Jackson, to the bucket and get a good shot. Now, you have to remember, Gary Payton's one of those players that can shoot very well from around the basket. The other thing is, you can go straight down into Vin Baker. He's got an array of shots down in the low post. The one thing they don't want to do is take a lot of time trying to decide what they need to do, because they want the Spurs to double team on the low post so they can get time to shoot the ball from the perimeter.
Let's see what Seattle said. Scott.
Well, Bob, as you know, they're going to bring the shooters in, and one of the best of all time, Del Ellis, is one of them. Trying to sneak a peek at George Karl's play. It looks like there'll be some motion up high. Got to get the ball in and look for Ellis spotting up in the corner as Payton goes one-on-one.
18 seconds remaining in this game. Spurs lead it by 1, 105-104.
Remember,
playoff atmosphere at the Alamodome.
18 seconds is a lot of time for a lot of things to happen. They want to see some type of double team.
Payton isolated against Jaren Jackson.
Well, they've got a mismatch down in the low post with Avery Johnson trying to guard Del Ellis.
Baker into the paint. Oh! It's good with 1.9. Timeout Spurs. Vin Baker working over Robinson, and it's 106-105. Baker has 24 and 10 rebounds in this game tonight. What a shot.
What a special athlete. Moving around, playing the last part of this game with 5 fouls. And look at him, behind the back at 6'11", and then in your face with a fall away and a little bit of kick, nothing but string. That's a big-time play. We talked about they have a lot of places to go. Baker, Payton, Ellis, Perkins, all tremendous clutch shooters. But right here, Vin Baker, fall back, baby.
And David Robinson, one of the great shot blockers of all time. He is second all time in block shots per game behind Dikembe Mutombo. And so he was defending him, but the fadeaway by Ben Baker at the 15-foot free throw line, 1.9. Now let's jump ahead to the Spurs here with 1.9 left, Reggie.
Well, they're going to get it. They're going to get it at half court. And the big thing, 1.9, you got plenty of time to catch and shoot. The problem is Seattle, such tough defense. They're one of the best in the league, and they can turn this defense up. You saw that's how they got the possession back on the pressure on the inbound. So first of all, San Antonio's got to get a good, clean inbound pass. What they have to try to do, if the best case scenario, is to pass it directly from out of bounds into the post area. Either Duncan or Robinson, either one of those guys. They don't want to have to take a flyer.
No time for a dribble. It's really catch and shoot.
You got to. That's why they want to try to get it straight in. And at 7 feet, you might see them go for the Hail Mary down in the low post with the two big guys.
Coming up just 1.9 seconds from now, inside the NBA, Vince Cellini, Cheryl Miller, all the scores and highlights. Look at the Knicks, Spike Lee, and San Antonio. Their 15-game home winning streak on the line. They've won 24 of their last 28, swept the opponents on the last road trip, and now they have 1.9.
They've got room. They've got room.
Robinson tipped away by Payton. That's the game. Sonics stealing 106, 105. 38 wins on the season. That's the most wins by any team in the NBA. And the Sonics continue their domination over the San Antonio Spurs. They have now won 7 of the last 9 games played here at the Alamodome and 5 games in a row. And Gary Payton is going to join us over here at the table, but first let's go to Scott Hastings on the floor.
I tell you what, big trade during the offseason, Seattle, but all the wins you've had this year, this got to be one of the best.
This is a big win, man. I was just blessed by God. We came out and played hard, scrapped them in the second half, and got back into the game, and we had some big shots down the stretch.
You know, if it looked like last night, a little bit of a repeat of the Houston game, you guys let them really get some momentum going that third quarter, but you stuck with it and got it back in the game, won it.
We continue to build character every game. We didn't want to lose 2 in a row. We've only done it once this year, so we came out and fought hard against a great San Antonio team and got back in the game.
Is this a preview? Is the Western Conference going to see this matchup a little bit later down in the playoffs?
You can see any matchup. The Western Conference is wide open. We just want to continue being on the roll that we started on and just keep going. And then hopefully we can meet up with this team in the future.
Enjoy this one. I tell you what, this is a good win. Congratulations.
Thanks a lot.
Bob, let's go back over the table. Thanks.
All right, thanks, Scott. We're going to take a brief break here and then be back. It is 106-105. Sonics get the Spurs, snapping San Antonio's 15-game home winning streak. Back in a moment.
National Geographic Explorer, Sunday nights, 7 Eastern, only on the Superstation.
How's Dad? He's holding up. A little misty. No, I mean his headache. He was really hurting. I gave him Tylenol. Extra strength. He's okay? Well, his headache's gone. As for okay...
For headaches, Tylenol is recommended the most by doctors.
How's your headache?
Oh, the head's perfect. The heart is aching just a little.
Me too.
Tylenol, the pain reliever hospitals use most.
2 magazines, 1 double espresso, $12. Khaki pants, $45. Work boots, $85. Realizing you're unzipped before anyone else does? Priceless. There are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard. Accepted all over. Even coffee bars.
Somewhere, a few miles from a trailhead, there is an owl who has been waiting his whole life to visit you at 3 in the morning and hoot. Humor him. The 1998 Isuzu Trooper, now with an advanced torque-on-demand traction system to help you discover a world that is large and is waiting.
If you've been getting those phone stickers, you may be getting a little confused. So allow me to simplify.
I love stickers.
Okay, but if you're calling anywhere in America or anywhere around the world, most calls from home will cost you less with AT&T One Rate and One Rate International.
So you're saying the sticker...
I'm saying if you use those stickers, you could get a little sticky. You might get stuck paying more with those stickers.
Yeah, I know, I got that. But I love stickers.
Never been more frightened in my life.
In America and around the world, the AT&T One Rate plan.
You know me like a book. You know my moves before I make them. I go right, you're there. I go left, you're there before me. I shoot from downtown, you're in my face. The only way to beat you is to go right at you. That's what I'm gonna do tonight. Tonight, I'm gonna own you. Ready? Let's go.
The NBA on TBS is brought to you by Budweiser, Beechwood aged for a crisp, clean, classic taste. Budweiser, the king of beers. By Isuzu, builders of the completely reinvented 1998 Isuzu Rodeo. Isuzu, go farther. By Fila, featuring the new GH4s. Change the game. And by AT&T, it's all within your reach.
Two teams that are probably on a collision course for playoff action, Seattle and San Antonio. Seattle continues their recent dominance over the Spurs, 106-105. This basket, behind the back dribble and shot over David Robinson by Vin Baker with 1.9 remaining, gives the Sonics the victory. So from the Alamodome, for Scott Hastings and Reggie Theus, this is Bob Neal. Let's go directly to Vince Cellini and Cheryl Miller in Atlanta.
And we thank you, Mr. Neal. And inside the NBA is an evening of close finishes like the one you just saw. Michael seems to have shaken the flu, and he shook the Hornets. Pacers and Heat hammer out a meeting of division leaders. Ditto the Sonics and the Spurs. Seattle loves the glove. The Spurs do not. Isaiah Ryder took a walk, and it cost him. We'll tell you about it. Have details. And is Penny on the move? Penny Hardaway is hurting. Is he trade material? We'll talk about it on the show. And we are just a minor camera tilt down, and we are inside the NBA. I'm Vince Cellini along with Cheryl Miller on a night when each conference had a matchup of division leaders, but we begin with a Bulls session in Charlotte. Bulls owner Jerry Reinsdorf trying to make nice with his team by saying, hey, gang, let's win a 6th title and forget about all this breakup talk. But first things first, and that was to improve on a 13-13 road record and do that tonight in Charlotte at the Coliseum there. And the Hornets trying to get back in the game. They were down by 9 at halftime. Here in the third, David Wesley hits the tray. 53-47 Bulls. And then Glenn Rice, really scalding, hits the three-pointer. And Dave Collins, his coach,
a little excited about that.
Fist in the air for Big Red. It's tied at 66. Scottie Pippen, though, little jump hook over Rice. 70-70 game in the fourth quarter. Hornets down 1. Watch this. Rice is just packed by Scottie Pippen. Big block right there. Bulls have a 1-point lead. Then guess who takes control? It's just wild, Cheryl.
Could it be Michael Jordan?
How did you know?
Just a guess.
Little wraparound right there, and draws the foul. Take another look. Vintage Jordan.
Oh!
I think the antibiotics have kicked in for Michael now. He's feeling much better. 90-89 Bulls. And then 3 seconds left. Glenn Rice at the line. Down 2. Misses intentionally at the line. Vernon Maxwell. If that goes. It does not. Mad Max so close to pulling this game out for the Charlotte Hornets. Look at Geiger on the floor. It was that kind of game. Everybody just emotionally drained. And Chicago scores a big win by a deuce at Charlotte. They're just 14-13 on the road now. Jordan with 29, Pippen 23. 17 of Rice's 29 came in the fourth quarter. And what a huge road win, as we said, as the Bulls are chasing Indiana in the Central. But Cheryl, talk a little bit about the Bulls now and the internal and external forces really working against Chicago.
Well, I spoke to assistant coach Jimmy Rogers this afternoon, and he said, you know what, as far as all the rumors of whether or not Michael's going to be back, whether Coach Jackson's going to be back, it doesn't matter. These guys are focused. They know what's at hand. The big obstacles, obviously, early in the season was losing Scottie Pippen, and then Steve Kerr was their only catch-and-shoot perimeter shooter. He's been out, and that's really put a strain on the offensive end. But they really need guys like Burrell and Caffey, and they certainly need Kukoc and also Brown to really step up and provide that consistency, Vince, whether it's at the defense defensive end or the offensive end.
So a tough road win for them tonight. They're back home Friday to Atlanta. They come to Chicago. But you know what? The Indiana Pacers aren't cooling off either. Chicago has its work cut out because the division leaders, Indiana and Miami, tangle in South Florida in a game that went something like this. Reggie Miller nails that three-pointer. Look at your brother talking to Alonzo.
Little chit-chat.
You can't do that. I guess he can, maybe. Tim Hardaway, though, showing some frustration here. He misses, then was knocked down, and slams that basketball, gets in the ref's face, called for the technical foul. The Pacers were leading at that point, 51-37. Third quarter now. Watch Reggie from long range. Bang! Knocks down that three-pointer.
When was that All-Star weekend?
Pacers are up by 20 at that point. And then the Heat breaking fast. Jamal Mashburn, Timmy Hardaway, part of an 11-2 Miami run. So the lead is down to 75-62, but Reggie still hot from the outside, buries another three-pointer, 4 of 4 from three-point range. Now Tim Hardaway trying to get his team back off the screen, hits that three-pointer, and Miami was within 4 with 1:23 left to play, but not enough as the Pacers win by a 9 spot. Pacers 16-9 on the road now. Reggie with 30 points. He was perfect on 10 free throws. Hardaway 32 in a losing effort. The Pacers now 12-3 in the second game of a back-to-back. That is impressive. They remain a half game up on Chicago in the Central. Hand-dome flare transition. Bucks at the Pistons. And Alvin Gentry.
You're so good.
The new Detroit coach, Ray Allen, lays it up and in. The Bucks 23-20 over the Pistons after one. Then Grant Hill. He's going to slash to the basket. I hear he does this. Pretty lay-in. 37-31 Bucks at that point in the second quarter. Still the second, Michael Curry. End of the first half. And this jumper is going to go. And a 2-point Bucks lead on the road at the Palatial. Now in the third quarter, Joe Dumars, 14 of his 16 points in the second half. It is 50-46 Pistons at that point. But Ray Allen answers back. Allen,
nice crossover.
With the kiss off glass and in. 24 in the game. Pistons lead is just 3. And it was 64-58 Pistons at the end of 3. And the big dog. The drive in 25 of the game. Pistons are up by 5. Jerry Stackhouse, though, working down low, and that one falls 80-73 Detroit, and Detroit a winner 95-83. Despite 25 from Glenn Robinson, 24 from Ray Allen, including 10 rebounds and 8 assists. Those are career highs. Grant Hill had a strong night with 21 points, 6 rebounds, and 9 assists. And the Pistons now start a 5-game road swing. And Detroit's first stop will be broadcast on TNT. Pistons, Miami Heat, Friday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, followed by Inside the NBA. And congratulations to Alvin Gentry. He and his wife just had a baby.
Oh, congratulations, yes.
Congratulations on the win. Talk a little bit about his influence on this Piston team.
Well, everyone knows, actually, the situation with Doug Collins, and Doug a little more excitable than Alvin Gentry. The big thing that Alvin Gentry will give the Pistons is a laid-back, relaxed atmosphere. What he would really like to do is have guys like Joe Dumars, Lindsey Hunter, and even Malik Sealy really try to take over the chores as far as handling the ball, taking out of Grant Hill so he doesn't have to work so hard, especially in the fourth quarter where they've really needed him, especially in the first, definitely in the second half of the season.
So a big test for Alvin Gentry and the Pistons, as we said, the big 5-game road trip now.
Yeah.
And that's when you know what you got going.
You'll find out.
Portland's Isaiah Rider now, who walked out of last night's home game against the Lakers with around 7 minutes remaining after arguing with his coach Mike Dunleavy about his shot selection during a timeout, has been suspended for Thursday's game in Phoenix. Now that'll cost him 1/82nd of his salary, a little over $51,000. On top of this, Rider on Wednesday played the race card, saying some Portland staff members give him dirty looks, accused one Portland staff member of racism, and even the city of Portland itself absorbing a Rider shot.
And you feel there's racism in the Blazers organization or in the Portland area?
Well, it's definitely in the area. It's definitely in the area.
What are you talking about? The instances maybe.
Come on now. we can go 40 miles down the way. They're probably still hanging people from trees. But anyway.
Okay, so again, you know, that's Isaiah's opinion, and already in a heated situation, that's not going to help things much and not endear him more to the people of Portland.
Well, you know, unfortunately, it's another distraction. And then when you look at the situation, Isaiah Rider, obviously coming to the game, was late, had 24 points out of 27 minutes. Here's a guy that had a tremendous performance. It's really an ugly, ugly mark for the Portland Trailblazers. Certainly something that Mike Dunleavy does not want to deal with, suspending him. And unfortunately, something will have to be done about this comment.
Okay, and coming up on the show, show. I'll tell you what, two bad teams, Dallas and Philadelphia, but what a tremendous game tonight.
What a game.
Sensational finish. We have that for you. And Orlando. Not like the guys in that movie Swingers. They're just looking to score. Points at a premium in Minneapolis. And movie maker Spike Lee unplugged. The director and NBA fan speaks out when following the action up close and personal from that courtside seat.
You can talk to the guys and interested, you know, and they talk back. And they act a lot of times like they can't hear you. The refs too, but they hear you.
One anniversary card with 2 tickets to India inside, $3,500. Caravan to the Blue City, $64. Boat to the Palace on the Lake, $28. 25 years. More better than worse. Priceless. There are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's Platinum MasterCard. With a high spending limit for the things that matter.
Hello? Did you get there?
Qualcomm digital phones, a revolution in technology.
And hey, a hearty congratulations to Yaron and Naomi Starostza of Denver, winners of the Sony Electronics Maximum Fun NBA All-Star Weekend Sweepstakes. The Starotstas won a trip for 4 to New York City for the NBA All-Star festivities, which included the big game. Starostas, all night. Enjoy. Which leads us to the AutoZone news of the day. It wasn't that, but it was close. And a penny for your thoughts. Penny Hardaway, who missed 26 games following surgery on his left knee, bruising his left calf last night in a loss at Indiana in the first quarter. Penny hurt the calf early, as we said, did not return to the game. As for tonight in Minnesota, didn't even dress. Penny was out of there, the Magic in Tarjay. But as it turns out, Magic had some tricks without Penny, their all-star. Derek Harper, historic three-pointer, shoots the 1,000th career three-pointer. He's the 10th player to reach that plateau. Magic was up 44-35 at halftime. Nick Anderson getting strong. Hits a three-pointer. Then Anderson another three. Bo Outlaw to Anderson. Très bien. Nick Anderson is getting the hot hand. He's really coming around lately. 68-59 Magic at the end of 3. Kevin Garnett coming to life, spinning, draining the little jumper. Fourth quarter, more Garnett. Working Forrest Grant. Oh, it's the jumper again. The Terry Porter alley-oop to Garnett, who finished it off nicely. 70-68, the Magic lead is down to 2. Magic start to pull away again, though. Harper steal. Then gets it back and goes in for the layup. 79-68 Magic on the road. And after the Harper miss, Bo Outlaw cleans up the mess. Flip Saunders, boy, not your night, not your team. Wow. 96-89. Orlando shorthanded, but going in there and winning. Nick Anderson, 28. Bo Outlaw, 14. Garnett had the strong game with 29 and 12 rebounds, but not enough. Well, Cheryl, Penny Hardaway, you know, it's a name we've heard a lot over All-Star Weekend, and even last night you talked about him possibly getting traded, and then it was close again, but no news is good news for Penny.
Well, I know he's certainly happy about that, because the deal that was on the table today sent Penny Hardaway to New Jersey. Sam Cassell, Kendall Gill would go to Toronto, and then from Toronto to Orlando would be Damon Stoudemire. Well, Penny came out and said there is no way on this earth that he would like to play in New Jersey. The deal is off the table, but certainly, you know, no one's name, everyone's name actually is out there as far as the trade rumors, and they are heating up before the deadline on the 19th.
Well, Penny hoping the Magic will do the right thing.
Keep them there, right?
Well, that's kind of my segue into
nice
this
segue, kid.
right now. It was kind of cheesy, but I'll take it. So how close can one get to the NBA without getting in the game? Just ask Spike Lee, accomplished filmmaker and longtime Knicks fan. Spike Lee has a new project, a film called He Got Game, which stars real-life NBA player Ray Allen of the Bucks. Now, recently, we wired Lee for sound as he watched Allen and the Bucks face his beloved Knicks. And now the results. Spike Lee, the miniseries, a producer Deaton Bell joint.
My father started taking me to basketball when I was very young. Probably the greatest game I ever went to was Game 7, the game that Willis Reed trotted out, dragged his leg onto the court. I was there for that game. I've been a season ticket holder here with the Knicks since the Knicks got Patrick Ewing. This is a ticket per game, $1,250 times 2. You all right?
Thank you, Oakley.
I'm just happy and fortunate I happen to be in a position where I'm able to pay these outrageous prices. Good looking out, man. You say my life. From these seats, it's not exactly just what you see, it's what you hear. And you hear the conversations. You hear the players talking to each other, to the refs, the interaction they have with the fans, the interaction we have with the refs. Call a foul! Come on, violent. What about with a back? They act a lot of times like they can't hear you. The refs too, but they hear you. Get it, John. Get the kick out, baby. Keep shooting, John, baby. Keep shooting, baby.
Spike puts his love of basketball to work in his latest film. He Got Game opens this spring, starring the Bucks' Ray Allen as a high school superstar and Denzel Washington as his father. All three were on the Garden floor recently when Ray put on a show.
Get out, John! Get out, John! Get out him! He got game. That's my son. He got game.
I took a shot and I fell off out of bounds, and he was like, "What are you doing?"
What are you doing, Ray?
Like we had some kind of agreement for me not to play good. I was like, I'm going out here to win this game. When you see him over there, you just want to go and beat the Knicks. He's a mainstay here in the Garden, and when people come here, they expect to see Spike.
You know, if only we had someone here who was close to a taunting situation on the court.
Could it be me?
It might be you. It might be your brother, Reggie.
Could be that.
They went around and around.
Man.
How serious was it?
Oh, it was probably the greatest game that I ever saw, but I'll tell you, 95 game one, they're down by these points. Reggie scores 8 points in 9 seconds. The whole time, Spike Lee is on him. Reggie said it was the greatest game he's ever been a part of. He said it was bad enough we were looking at losing to the Knicks. He wasn't going to let Spike get away, but I had heard a rumor that Spike's coming out with another movie, She's Got Game, starring Cheryl Miller and Denzel Washington as my husband. It's a love story. That's what I heard.
I think you're going for the casting thing more so than the movie itself. But you do what you have to do. Spike, if you're listening, that's the pitch. Much more ahead on Inside the NBA. How about the Sonics and Spurs? We had it tonight. What a great finish to this one. Avery Johnson really put on a show, as did the rookie Tim Duncan. And Mavs and Sixers down to the wire, and an argument ensues.
From the Academy Award-winning creators of Fargo comes a comedy for anyone who's ever fallen in love. The Big Lebowski, rated R. Opens Friday, March 6th at theaters everywhere.
How has Black history made an impact in your life?
More than anything, it gave me a sense of pride and a better understanding of who I am. It made me more determined to do something positive with my life.
Some people may say, I'm not African American, so why do I need to learn about Black history?
Because Black history is American history. It's about celebrating American people. That's why everybody should celebrate Black History Month.
fear of flying can be overcome. First, choose a friendly airline.
Welcome to Con Air.
Get to know your fellow passengers. Sing a soothing song.
He's got the whole world in his hand.
And if all else fails, kiss your bottom bye-bye!
See Con Air. It's right here on TCI pay-per-view.
Who today?
Shopping for a car.
Where?
Gilliland Chevrolet.
Can I come along?
Sure, pull up a chair.
I thought you said you were going to buy a car.
I just did.
Shop for your next car on the internet. www.gillilandchev.com.
So what do you want, a medal?
Love to.
Yes, it's the ultimate daytime drama. The Olympic Winter Games, coverage daily from 1 to 6 p.m. Eastern Time on TNT. Well, a couple of struggling teams, Mavericks and Sixers at core states. What a finish, Cheryl Miller. Tim Thomas gets the Sixers up early, gets the steal and the dunk and a 7-point Philadelphia lead. Dennis Scott, been rumored on the trading block and maybe showcased in this game, bringing the Mavs back here with the tray. 44-42, Sixers in front in the second quarter, then Scott again. This time off the miss, Scott beating the halftime buzzer.
Ooh, that's tough.
Dallas ties this thing at 44 all at the half. Khaled Reeves now with the basketball and a drive to the hoop. 54-51, Mavs out in front. Dallas getting something from Chris Anstey. He gets a big jam. 74-63, it's the Mavs. But Allen Iverson puts the team on his back. And Allen Iverson here with a drive to the hoop. This is pretty.
Oh, that's just tough. You go, boy.
16 in the fourth quarter. 85-78. Up by 2, 10 seconds left. Dennis Scott tries to inbound. It's stolen by Theo Ratliff. Push the ball up the floor, and there's the answer. Hits a big three-pointer. Philadelphia 91-90. No timeouts left for Dallas. They have to push it up the floor. AC Green, that three-point try is blocked, and then Michael Finley.
The light. Watch the light, Vince.
It does not go. Cheryl, tell us why. Where's the light?
Hey, you got to watch the light. Nolan Fine, the head official right there with a great call. He signals a three-point shot, but if you notice at the top of the basket, the light is on. The shot does not count. Good call by the official.
Well, that is absolute heartbreak for the Dallas Mavericks and Don Nelson. Michael Finley desperately begging the official crew to let that thing go. But it's 91-90. Philadelphia wins to end a 7-game losing streak. The Mavs have now lost 4 in a row and 22 straight on the road. So you see a game like that. Wow. And, you look on the schedule, you say, this might not be much. But what a game that turned into. And how big it is for Dallas. They want a road win. Haven't had one since early November.
It's heartbreaking when you're Dallas and you lose it in a game like that. They're certainly trying to build and rebuilding for next season. But what a huge win for the 76ers, for Larry Brown, for this very young team. I mean, they're so talented. But I spoke to Billy, and he said yesterday that this is a team that has so much talent, but as far as the future is concerned, they have to start maturing and believing and having that confidence in one another.
But what a sensational effort by Iverson there. Just single-handedly lead them back. Great job. In a game earlier tonight on TBS, Seattle at San Antonio, the division leaders, and that's Avery Johnson. Goes behind the bag, then beats the buzzer in the second quarter with a jumper. Spurs down by 2 in the fourth. Chuck Person hits a 3. Spurs are up 1, 105-104. San Antonio, they have the ball in a 1-point lead with Gary Payton. Forces Avery Johnson, OB, out of bounds. That is Seattle basketball. Great play by the glove. 6 seconds left. Vin Baker has a chance to give him the lead. Vin Baker fade away, and it counts. 106-105, Seattle's out in front. 1.8 seconds left. Avery Johnson, the inbounds pass. Nothing doing. Sonics win by a point. Vin Baker, sensational. 106-105, 24, and the game winner, Shrimp 21. Seattle now 38-11, best record in the NBA. We'll be back in a minute with the late games and a little bit more on Inside. Keep it here.
What if it were me? What if things were different? If I weren't healthy? Or if I never got the opportunity? What if my mother didn't teach me to take time and give back? These are the things I ask myself. The things that help me keep it real. Volunteer to improve your community. Team up.
Now there's a tire that can survive even this, the Goodyear Eagle F1 Run Flat. Even with no air pressure, Goodyear Run Flat technology lets you drive up to 50 miles at 55 miles per hour, so you can drive to safety. Eagle F1 Run Flat.
Serious freedom.
Only from Goodyear.
Goodyear, Goodyear.
Life's a trip, and it takes money to get where you're going. That's what mutual funds are for. At Janus, making money means looking for breaks nobody else saw coming, jumping on and riding them in. No matter what the market's doing, there are great companies to invest in. Janus finds them, so you can get there. Janus no-load mutual funds.
Kobe Bryant of the Lakers did not start tonight, late for a shoot-around, so John Barry gets the start for the Lakers, and they really don't lose much. Wiz and the Clips, and this also in Los Angeles. Clippers with the early lead there. The Isuzu look ahead involves Clipper coach Bill Fitch, his relentless pursuit of the Celtic legend. Fitch will soon move into the #2 spot in career coaching wins, trailing only Lenny Wilkins. Look at Pat Riley, who's 5th on the list. Very, very impressive. Some plays of the day brought to you by Foot Locker. How about Theo Rattler? The steal of the inbounds pass, Mavs and the Sixers, and then Allen Iverson. How did he get left alone?
I have no idea.
You might want to cover Allen Iverson. Knocks down that 3, and that was the difference in the game. Michael Jordan, with his team protecting a 1-point lead. Jordan.
That's tough.
Sensational. I think that flu is all but gone now. And then Vin Baker trying to give his team a win. Down 1, Baker with a fadeaway jumper, and that goes. And Seattle did win on the road in San Antonio. So on a down-to-the-wire night, we do the same. For Cheryl Miller, I'm Vince Cellini. We'll see you next time. For the entire TBS crew, take care. Friday on TNT, basketball returns.
The preceding has been an exclusive presentation of Turner Sports. In 1998, cable television's exclusive host for the 18th Olympic Winter Games from Nagano, Japan, and the 4th Goodwill Games from New York.